guilty of crime.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? Thank you guys for being so patient with me. I'm back. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, your host. Come on in, guys. Hopefully, we get you guys in here, packed in, participating. Guys, come on in. Hit that like button. 33, 34, 35 people are rolling in. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you check all the notifications and get a membership if you can. All right. Big prayers to Cuff you. I see there's something going on there with your son. And I just want to say big prayers to you. Everybody that needs prayers, you know the drill. Hey, DB Bentley, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Today we're talking about the David preliminary hearing update, day 2. Guys, details shown have now painted a motive that as financial, and that's what we're going to start see coming out in these days. What is the prosecution painting, and what is the defense trying to use as a defense? She OD'd, I didn't kill her. I don't know. We don't know yet. But come on in, guys. Let's do it. I love covering a case like this that everybody's down at the courthouse and getting snippets of it and being able to show you and tell you what happened. Today, I also just got my lip pierced again and my nose. So if I'm kind of my lip hurts a little bit, not that much. I've had it pierced before. I pierced it myself when I was like 17, but when I opened it back up, it's just a little sore. So don't mind me. As long as I'm not drooling on myself, we're good. Happy birthday month to all the Leos and the Cancers. All right. Yeah, obviously. But guys, they are shady AF, hiding the money. And we knew that was going to happen, right? When they changed the house over to his parents' name. I mean, greed, I guess, is the root of all evil. And I guess the CSAM, the pedo, I think he would have continued to do those sort of things with other various girls had he continued to get along with it. So come on in, everybody. Let's put this up for a minute. We need justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez and family. I don't know exactly what happened with her family and why they weren't able to keep her in the house and protected. But, you know, when your children run away, we got to teach them somehow that when they run away nowadays, they don't always come back. And I don't know what the best way to do that is, but, you know, we can put our minds together because nowadays they don't come back. All right, guys, come on in. Happy, what day are we on? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Tomorrow is the first day of Leo the Lion. Yeah, well, we've been celebrating all month. So, guys, come on in. We're going to have a episode packed with information today and, right? Facts and then a bit of speculation, but most of it's facts. So come on in. These are the things that came out in court yesterday, and people are upset. But you know who wasn't upset and who didn't look upset? David. As a matter of fact, when you talk to people that were in the courthouse and you listen to what they're saying, it was more like he was bored and he wanted to be anywhere else but that. But he was very intently staring at the pile of body parts, guys. I heard that was gruesome. When you see that the body parts up there and the legs and the arms stacked up, it's a cartoon. It's a little half-ass court drawing, but when you see it inside, I was listening to Brian Enton saying he had never seen anything like that. It was like going to a butcher and them chopping up the meat for you, but except it was Celeste. So guys, I don't know what's going on today. I hope you guys are ready for this. Let's say hi and then we'll get rolling. Also, I mean, these items that were used to kill Celeste is going to be a big part in the case. And we're going to show you how it plays a role, the receipts and everything else that we have, that updates of today, day 2. Happy 45th to beautiful Chrissy Ann. She's on the cusp and definitely a crabby Leo. I love it. Loving Jay from Orlando. All right, guys, come on in. If you leave, hit the like button. If you just came in, hit the like button, share, all the fun stuff, all right? I got the goal up per usual, and let's get to it. This guy wasted his entire life, and today we're going to focus a lot on not just the financials, but the people that were connected in this case that knew Celeste had been with him going on the airplane and doing things, and they try to deny that they knew she was an underage minor, but I'm not buying it. And you see the pictures of her at 13, she looks like she's 10. These people are full of crap. They got money, so they shut up. It was hush, hush. And David paid off the kids to bring her a cell phone. He gave them $1,000. So imagine how many other people he swayed with his money. All right. They are not slick. We knew, right? And that's what he did to her body to get to this point here. Right. She was missing still the parts were missing, fingers, parts of her legs and limbs were not in that bag. What did he do with them? That's what I want to know. So today, let me put this up and then I will give you a quick day 2, second day preliminary hearing. Now, I saw you, Nikki, asking about why it's not televised. And that's because California doesn't televise pre-trial hearings. They don't want all this stuff out. They're not letting us do any of that. So I thought maybe it was because she's a minor, but no, California doesn't allow that. And the judge had ruled against it. Look at the picture of Celeste down there in the bottom right-hand corner, guys. That was the first time she had gone missing in the poster years ago. Tell me she does not look, you tell me she looks 18 or 19. I'm not buying it at all. I think it's bullshit, and these people were lying on the stand just for the sake of. Avis, good to see you, my friend. We got some gems in the house, 10 gems, 2 gems, and a happy poop. I don't even know what's going on with those things, but they're cute. All right, guys, welcome in. Let me, hey, Sadie's mama, good to see you. All right, so listen, David Anthony Burke, he's no longer going to be D4vd. His name's David, damn it. Known professionally as D4vd, but his career's over. Downtown Los Angeles, lots of people in and out of the courtroom. Tickets are scarce. Burke is 21 years old and facing first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a minor, and mutilation of a body in connection with 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. But today, finances take the center stage, and you'll hear about his finances as well as the people connected to Celeste that were there, drove him around, manager Rob that was there. Prosecutors argued that Burke's lucrative music career, which they added up to be over $10 million between 2023 and 2025, may be the driving force factor in the alleged killing. Now, witnesses from Interscope Records and Burke's management team testified that David earned millions through record deals and brand partnerships like Crocs, Hollister, and Bose. Guys, he threw his life away after taking Celeste Rivas' life way too soon. Now, I think it's Louis Pomero, Interscope senior vice president, he confirmed that David's contract totaled up to $19 million, guys, with payments of almost 950. Oh my God, this guy. He was getting payments of $950,000 in 2022 In 2023, at the height of his career and starting his relationship with Celeste, he made $3.8 million. Then in 2025, he made $2.7 million. Prosecutors suggest that David feared that his relationship would impact his career yet, and that's why they say it's a financial motive. But I think it goes deeper than that, guys. I think it goes a lot deeper. I think there's a lot of demons in his head, and he really liked the gore. I think he took it to the next level. He thought he was smarter than everyone. He thought he had enough money to pay them off, and look at where he ended up. I had no idea that he made that much money. Kudos to him for making that. He's not, in my opinion, he's not a talented anything, but kudos for capitalizing on that non-talent. Right? Yeah, I mean, he didn't have talent, but boy, was he making money, guys. So here's the thing. They're going to use that as the motive. Now, witness testimonies today. The first witness was Benjamin Greger. I'm going to just give you a quick recap because that's what it's going to be today. All right? First day, Benjamin Greger, our first witness, and that was a money manager for David. He testified that he only knew Celeste's name, first name before her body was discovered in Burke's Tesla. Now, Greger, the money manager, described encrypted communications between David's team after the discovery and said that Burke discussed transferring property to his mother's name to shield him from civil lawsuits. Guys, come on. If they're not telling us what he did and telling us that he's guilty, I don't know what else that we can say. When prosecutors pressed his financial manager about the trips with Celeste, including London and Texas, the defense attorneys objected repeatedly, prompting Judge Charlene Omido to intervene and calm the escalating exchanges. This is going to be the foreshadowing to the trial, guys. Now, prosecution Deputy District Beth Silverman, she emphasized that Burke's wealth and his fame were intertwined with his alleged motive. She argues that Celeste, who reportedly preparing to expose their relationship, poses a threat to him, and prosecutors claim Burke then fatally stabbed her to protect his image and silence her. All right, so we're in day 2. I don't know how many days. They say it could be they could be 3 days, 4 days, or 5. Seems like it's going to go more on to the 5th day, but we'll see. All right, let's get caught up with this. We're going to get back to some of these things. We're going to get into all of it. So the tattoo finger must be a trophy. I agree with that, Caroline, but I do wonder, did he save it? Did they find that trophy? Did they find her mummified finger somewhere in his stuff? Other missing parts are possibly props. Well, here's the thing, Caroline. If that's the case, then they would find that through the different searches, unless he did it and then he buried it somewhere. He's a real weirdo. He's a real sick guy in his head. Only somebody that's purely evil can do this, guys. I cannot imagine having this relationship with a younger person where you're trying to shut them up, and then on top of it, you do this to their body after driving to Santa Barbara, getting rid of her stuff, and then going on tour right after. He literally has no conscience, in my opinion. All right, I don't know anybody that is not just pure evil could do that. They started off, Bridget. They started off saying it was only 3 days, but now that we're starting to see the prosecution and the defense, and they can't tell us how long each witness is going to take or if they're going to be cross-examined. So we can't say 3 or 5 until it rolls out. Sunshine, 200 sunshine gems. What's up, guys? Yeah, he got sick real fast, and I think the demons were in his head when he was in his room all them hours by himself reading gore, and I'm not blaming it on that, because I also like horror and those kind of things, but I would not want anything to do with that in real life. So let's take a look at today. Prosecutors' evidence against him in Celeste's murder, and a lot of it's pointing to, well, financial.
The preliminary hearing for David, the singer accused of killing a 14-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore and disposing of her body in a Tesla. Good evening once again. I'm Annabelle Sedano.
I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. Michael and Colleen are off. David is expected in court over the course of several days. The goal for prosecutors to determine if there is sufficient probable cause for him to stand trial. Investigative reporter Eric Leonard was in the courtroom throughout the day in downtown LA. He joins us live now with more details, and we should warn you, some of the descriptions from court are graphic. Eric.
Yeah, hi, Jonathan. This must have been an incredibly difficult day for Celeste Rivas Hernandez's parents. Her mother and father seated in the front row of the gallery in the courtroom all day today, especially this morning when detectives began to describe finding their daughter's remains, the condition of those remains, and the early stages of the investigation of her death. So far, prosecutors have really focused on the first days of that police investigation and how detectives said they continued to discover clues even in those first hours that not only pointed to the singer David, his car, but also a home he was staying in the Hollywood Hills. Sketches from court this morning showed David, whose legal name is David Burke, sitting on the 9th floor courtroom as prosecutors showed photos of the way 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was discovered, dismembered, in an advanced state of decomposition and inside 2 bags. Rivas Hernandez's parents in the front row, Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman warning them about what was about to be shown, and at one point even suggesting they put their heads down.
Now, guys, the people that are in court are saying that they're never going to be able to unsee this. All right. And there's a lot of reporters there, reporters from news stations as well as YouTube, right? We've got so many people. We got Sloan down there. We've got Matt Thibodeau. We've got your favorite Kadisha, aka Jen Soto lookalike. We've got Trapmore Ross. I saw Flojo down there. He was in the midst of Lauren Conlon's pictures, and that's another person. All right, Lauren Conlon. So, I mean, yeah, homeschool is one thing and desensitizing yourself is another thing. But going to that level of what he did to her and the planning is just unbelievable.
Celeste was found last September in the front trunk of a black Tesla in Hollywood. The car, of course, registered to David Burke. And all these photos, just part of the presentation of evidence where the prosecution is demonstrating to the judge that there's enough here for the case to go to a jury trial. An LAPD detective on the witness stand for much of the day, recounting how multiple clues he developed pointed towards Burke. Among them, electronic data that shows Burke was the last person to drive that black Tesla on July 29th, 2025. That was about a month before Celeste was found. Search warrants led to online purchase records that show Burke bought 3 chainsaws, a shovel, body bag, and an incinerator around the time Rivas Hernandez disappeared. Photos of these items were shown in court, and the detective explained some of this equipment was delivered by Amazon, DoorDash, and Postmates. No blood was found on those saws. It turns out they weren't tested for DNA. Earlier today, an LA County Sheriff's deputy testified about a welfare check at a home in West Hollywood where Burke was staying in early 2025. The home was searched for Rivas Hernandez. She wasn't there. At one point, body-worn video captured Burke saying Rivas Hernandez had told him she was 18 years old, and later he learned she was 13. At the time of the recording, prosecutors said,
guys, this is not good. This is not good. There's so many discrepancies on David, on what he's saying versus these witnesses that, guys, these people that are testifying don't want to testify against David. He's the bread and butter for them at this particular time. Viking Treasure, good to see you, my friend. They don't want to testify against him. They don't. His parents don't. His management doesn't. And you could tell. You can tell they don't want to, but they've been subpoenaed. Now, earlier when they talked about the money and that being the motive, Benjamin Greger, who worked on his management team, also testified about Burke's $10 million in dollars and controlled assets that are actually worth more than $10 million. He said that Hernandez's remains were discovered and the management team began using encrypted messaging apps. Greger also testified that Burke discussed using a Texas property as potential bail money and advised him to transfer other properties to his mom's name to protect from possible civil lawsuits. If that doesn't tell you what the hell is that he did this, if that doesn't show a sign of guilt, sorry, in my opinion. Now, during the cross-examination, Greger said that he met Burke fewer than 5 times. He never questioned how much money he was making, and he wasn't aware that Burke was paying for security, including a man that lived in the Hollywood Hills for several months. Did you guys know that? The defense then argued that Gregor and his mother managed Burke's finances and that he was unaware of the day-to-day handling. Did you know that he had a live-in security guard, guys? There's a lot of things that are coming out and so many witnesses. Remember, they haven't even showed their hand yet in court. They're saving that for the trial. Their full hand.
Burke was already involved in an intimate relationship with the teen. Now, on the witness stand early this afternoon and just until court let out was a music industry executive testifying about the ways that David Burke was earning money and how much money he had earned early in his career, somewhere between $10 and $11 million. The reason this person is testifying is because prosecutors are trying to show there was a financial motive for the murder, that if his career was interrupted, that he stood to lose potentially millions of dollars. Preliminary hearings like this are usually very short. This one is stretching into a couple of days, and like you said, we expect to be here through the end of the week. Live at criminal courts, I'm in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you can't, there's nothing that you could do about that when it comes to cross-examination and back and forths, right? So, guys, the Silverman returned by saying that Burke had credit cards and was making purchases. You're going to see that's the big news today, is the motive has come out. Although there's other details and gruesome details, that's the big thing that they want to get across to the judge. That's why, so they can move to a trial. Now, Lewis, I told you about that earlier, the vice president of Interscope. He had a contract in 2025 that was terminated. He said Burke's contract in 2022 ended in 2025, but he also showed the payments that were made to him from 2022 to 2025. All right. So they're showing money. They're showing and talking about this motive that he didn't want to get caught. Now, they called Sean Bonestro, the California Highway Patrol that was dispatched on Highway 154. And he testified about where a Caltrans worker found Celeste Rivas' ID card. All right. They also, and I wonder if that ID card says that she's 18, if that's a fake ID or what. All right, let me put this back up for a minute and remove this. Yeah, money talks, that's for sure, Harris. So listen, they talked about that. They also talked about him driving to this highway after her murder. So then cross defense, they did cross examination, and the attorneys pointed out that the worker was holding the passport with no gloves. They even tried to put some suspicion on the worker who found it. And now you can see what they're looking at for a defense. They argued that the officer didn't know how long the passport had even been there, or if it was found or washed in by a storm. So guys, you see what they're doing. We're playing semantics here. Now, the fourth witness, Chelsea Murillo, a criminologist from LAPD, she was involved in collecting and preserving the evidence in the Tesla. She testified that there was a layer of dust in the Tesla, which meant that it had been sitting out for a long period. She said there was a strong odor that was coming from the decomposing body. And she also described seeing insects in the front trunk. Guys, this is the part that gets me, of him putting air fresheners and trying to hide that smell. Let me continue reading this for you real quick. So Silverman showed up at court with multiple air fresheners inside the Tesla that Murillo said were found, mainly in the front of the trunk, center console, and back seats. If the judge finds probable cause, then the next step after this preliminary hearing is to set a trial date. And I think there's going to be enough, but we'll see. The preliminary hearing is expected to last several days before a decision is made. And they say we will be seeking to hold David to answer for 3 felony counts, which he has been charged. Now, LA County Nathan Hockman said outside of the courthouse yesterday that the first-degree murder with special circumstances and the counts of lewd and lascivious acts with a 13-year-old and the count of mutilation of human remains. They're sticking to that. It doesn't sound like they're offering a plea deal. and you can't get a plea deal unless they're offering it. Now, prosecutors present graphic evidence. That was the first day of the hearing. That's what we were looking at earlier. A slew of gruesome photos. We're only seeing the drawings, but people that saw it in person say it's graphic and they're not going to be able to unsee that. All right. So prosecutors also called Josh Byers, the detective who responded to Hollywood Tow, where the remains were later discovered. He responded to the scene for a death investigation about a body found in the car. And this was yesterday. So yesterday was the bags that came out of the trunk. They were pictured, opened, and we saw that. All right. Murder case against David. He's got 3 felony charges. They don't even know if they're going to impose the death penalty yet. I have a feeling that they won't, because it takes a lot of extra steps. All right. But what they did talk about yesterday, that included all of these things yesterday. And that is the 3 chainsaws, one that they couldn't find, the mop, the bags, all the Amazon stuff that he so carelessly ordered to his house with his own credit card using a different name. All right. That is, I mean, can criminals get any dumber than that? I'm glad he is a dumb criminal, though. And Rose, thank you for being a member for 8 months. And some clapping seal, 250 gems. I'm glad I can see them now. All right. So you guys see all of the stuff that he bought. We're not even looking at a burn cage on here, but he did try to get a burn cage to Victoria Mendez. The fireproof mat shows you that he was going to use it, but he realized, oh, guess I can't do that in LA, only in Texas. Right? Hey, Andy, good to see you. All right. Let's pull this down. We got a lot to get into today, and I want to get to it. All right, let's put your favorite on. Let's put Brian Anton first. All right, let's put Brian Anton. I know you guys, I love him too, and his recaps. This is from the morning, and then we're going to hop into the afternoon, and we're going to get through it all together. Thank you guys for being here. Do me a favor, hit the like button. If you would help with the goal, I will be gifting memberships for birthday month. So if you have a birthday or somebody you know, let us know in chat. All right, this is Brian Anton going in court this morning.
Hey guys, want to give you an update with everything going on inside the David hearing. Today's day 2, it's Wednesday here in Los Angeles. No cameras allowed inside, no live tweeting, so this is really the only way to get you guys information. We're allowed to come out and read our notes during break. Money was a big deal again today. Remember, the prosecution seems that the motive that they say for the murder was that David had a lot to lose with all the money he was making in the music business, and that he killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez because if it came out that he was with an underage girl, his career would be over. Turns out the potential amount of money to be made under one of his contracts, had it not been terminated, was $17 million. He had already made millions and millions of dollars. His money manager was back on the stand today, asked a lot about his communication with David's mom, Colleen, and he said he seemed to talk to the mom mostly. She seemed to be in control of all that stuff, that he only talked to David 5 times, but was talking to the mom a lot. The prosecutor then asked him if he had any knowledge of David buying tickets to Texas and London to travel with Celeste, which that came out yesterday. There were these plane tickets. And he said no, and also kind of shows that David must have known her age if he was buying her plane tickets, according to the prosecution. They also asked the money manager if David and Celeste were going to parties and nightclubs together. They had fake IDs. He said he didn't know. But again, money now, it was really the top.
Guys, there are so many witnesses. When I saw the witness list, it didn't show all of them, but it showed the numbers. A lot of them were obviously not shown because there's probably underage minors and people that they don't want to know. The list is huge. And you know what? Greed and money are the root of all evil, but that's not all. He didn't just he could have easily taken her life and put her in thrown her at a beach or off a cliff or somewhere. But he took it many steps further by keeping her for weeks, by letting her bleed out, by precisely buying these things to make sure he can get rid of her, and then by cutting her up and putting her, like, he couldn't let her go. He put her in the front trunk right in front of his house, just a block down. That goes farther than greed, guys. That goes a lot farther. That's seething. That's hate. There's a lot that goes on with that.
Topic at the end of the day yesterday, and it's another big topic today, and it's clear that that's going to be a big part of the case here. All right.
So let's hop to his second part. How you guys doing? Good to see you, Mab. You got that right. Got that right, my friend. All right, here he goes again. Brian Enton.
Guys, I wanted to give you another quick update on what's been happening inside the David preliminary hearing. Again, this is the only
I know
do this because there's no video inside and you can't live tweet, but during breaks we can give you guys information about what happened. I'm just looking back at the notes. A lot more about David's finances, which I already got into. There was a woman on the stand just now named Chelsea Murillo. She's a criminalist with LAPD for 7 years. This stuff gets gruesome. But
right?
She talked about how when they found the Tesla, the first thing she noticed was the smell of a decomposing human body, and that there was significant insect activity that she discovered, and that she discovered multiple air fresheners. So there were allegedly air fresheners inside the car and also in the trunk, which is interesting. Did someone put those air fresheners there to try and hide the smell of a decomposing body? So she was on the stand talking about that. And then again, there was also a lot of talk about the finances. And I told you guys the defense said that David had the potential to make about $19 million if he got the maximum for every.
Now, guys, mind you, all of his contracts have been canceled and they are no longer funding him. Think about this, though. Think about this. He has been releasing, or somebody has been releasing his music all throughout this, and especially during this preliminary hearing. All right. It's like it's a trending topic. Hashtag D4vd. So are they strategically releasing these? And is it the family members? Is it the brother? Hey, Shadow Lion. Good to see you, my friend. You guys, love you. I cannot wait to gift a membership. We have so many people that aren't in the green today. I don't think someone helped him. I really, truly don't. I think if anything, they knew and maybe they, fandangle a little bit of the evidence, but I don't think they actually helped him. I think it was a very personal murder, and I think he enjoyed it. Hey, Janet. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm torn about that. I think it was a lot more personal for him, and that it was something he enjoyed and kept a trophy of. Hey, Texas from California. All right. Brian Etten.
Album. And it seems the prosecution's trying to make the point that he had a lot to lose and that he killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez out of fear that if it came out that he was with this underage, she came forward and he got in trouble, that his career would be over. So that's the latest. Keep you guys posted.
All right. As we run through these, guys, let's go to your favorite. They've all got different parts of today. So that's what we're doing. After this, I am going to break this up in between and hop to X so you can see some of the things that are going on there. What was he thinking? He just abandoned the car and he'll be evil and a moron. Yeah, well, when you put, all you got to do is put air fresheners and tell your friends that someone took a dump in your bathroom, and then that's it. Voila. Everything else will just disappear, right? No? Hey, Colleen, that's me. I'm feeling kind of great today. Oh, well, cheer up. All right? Cheer up. Ingrid, hey, my friend. Good to see you. There's so many people here that I don't see all the time. Welcome. Monica here from San Diego. Yes, Monica, I love San Diego. That is my home away from home, so to speak. If we're not in the Bay Area, San Diego, particularly those beaches with the seals. What is that called? That La Jolla. La Jolla is my favorite place to be. Leo's in the house. All right. All right, guys. When we do get to the longer videos, I am going to gift you memberships. All right. All right. Let's go.
hearing, we are hearing about all of the blood that was found in David's house. And guys, it was a lot that connected it back to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So when they went into the garage of David's home and executed the search warrant, they found this pool and it was crumpled up into a ball and it had a dryer sheet in it. When they opened it, they saw the linear cuts to this pool that they believe happened with a chainsaw. There was also presence of blood in this pool as well, and it seems like David might have tried to clean it somehow, as there was a dryer sheet in this. Now, on top of all of this, there were these rubber mats on David's garage floor, and these also had tons of cuts on them. There were tons of red stains all over these black mats that had these cuts on them, and also when they lifted it up, tons of red stains that tested positive for blood. There's also a garbage bag found in this garage that was filled of little wipes that appear to be like Clorox wipes that were filled with these same type of colored stains. And 2 green tarps that also had these same stains that were positive for blood as well. And like I've said multiple times, I've showed it on the screen, but let's show this one more time. Prosecutors are alleging that David dismembered Celeste in this pool in his garage. In this brief right here,
Guys, doesn't that seem to be a bit messy? Not just messy, but I mean, it's evil. Can you imagine sitting in there? You just got back from being on this tour and you come back and you're all alone by yourself, probably listening to music like no big deal. And you just start cutting up your girlfriend that you've been with for over 2 years. You start cutting up her body. You're just cutting it up and hey, I'm just going to take those fingers. And I think that's good. Let me put that in my whatever. I mean, this is not normal. This is not normal. And it's beyond everything that we know. What I remember when Jeffrey Dahmer first got arrested and he was talking to law enforcement, this is what it reminds me of. Jeffrey Dahmer knew that he was sick in the head and he knew that he had a problem, that he couldn't control himself. And he said, I'm glad you locked me up because I would have continued to do this. But that's evil there. That is evil. And I believe he's on that same level. All right. I know.
They state that they matched pieces of this pool to the pieces of plastic that were in Celeste when they found her. And we also
now remember, we were trying to find out what it was. I thought it was a 3D printer. I thought maybe he used a 3D printed saw so that he could melt it down. But no, he used a freaking kiddie pool, and those pieces got into her bones and to the area of her that he cut. So anything that he cut got caught on the damn saw. And I don't even know if he used one saw or multiple, but they said she was hacked apart. That's the only way that they can describe it, was hacked apart, like an animal just ripped her. There was no precision in what he did at all. Just pure violence. All right. They do not let the cameras in, and I'm not sure how trial's going to go. I hope they have cameras. That would be nice.
Heard more testimony about these pieces yesterday that was found on Celeste, and they said that they were dark blue and light blue, and this is the exact pool that they were able to match. Now let's get back into the testimony about the Tesla, because they are saying that there was multiple red stains found on the 3rd row back seat in David's Tesla. They sprayed this with an agent that glows, if it is blood, and it did light up, saying that that is usually positive that this is blood. But the criminalist did testify to know for sure you would also need to test it, and it doesn't sound like they've done that yet, so I'm not really sure when it comes to that part. It also lit up in the rear cargo area of David's Tesla. So we know Celeste was in the front trunk of David's Tesla, and it seems like they're saying it also lit up in the back of David's Tesla, and there appeared to be stains there as well. Same thing, it would need testing done for you to 100% know for sure that this is also blood, and it doesn't seem like they've done that yet. Or if they're going to have somebody else testify that they did do this, we just don't know. This criminalist did agree with David's defense attorney that she cannot say who left these stains or why these stains were actually left, because they weren't actually forensically tested.
Now, guys, when they're going to play that, this is semantics, and it sounds like the defense is super weak, and they're going to try to trip the prosecution up. And you guys do got to realize that the prosecution, they could be tripped up on these things. As a matter of fact, they didn't collect the body bag. They got rid of the evidence, and something happened with the body bag evidence. I don't know if they didn't swab it or what, but that's what the defense is looking for. All right, let me check chat, because you guys are popping today. All right, I've seen less evidence. I know, right? In an evidence basement. He goes on a live, normal life. Like, yep, I don't know. Evil is all I can. That's all I can come up with. And happy birthday to Chris Stearns. Deb, tell your husband that we say happy birthday. And today, I think is the first day of Leo season. He's a Leo. He's got to be, right? Tomorrow's your daughter's birthday, April. Happy birthday month to your daughter. Leos, we celebrate all month long. He should have did it at the police station. I know, right? I'd have just turned it. I would have just walked over and been like, hey, take me in. I did this. I know. With the depravity of the crime, I'm sure Nathan Hochman opens up for the death. But well, he talked about it. He's at least teasing about it. They didn't test it. They only collected it. So they're looking for semantics. Happy birthday to anybody that is having a birthday today, tomorrow, or this month. Okay, got to get some ice cream at the corner store. Be right back, Mr. Mab. Also, another thing, if you guys noticed, we didn't kick you out, Janet. Yes, look at the videos with them laughing. But in all seriousness, here, David, if you notice, he's not very flashy. He didn't have a lot of things. Like, that wasn't the car. He rented that car. The mansion he rented. You look at the pants he's wearing, and they're faded ass black pants, and nothing special done with anything. So you always see him in the same clothes all the time. So he's not really fancy at all. And I have a feeling there's a lot more money and assets that he has that's gonna come out. And this car, is this the same car? If so, the seats are white, buddy. What are you doing?
Or at least she doesn't know those results. David's defense attorney also asked her if blood was confirmed on the front seat, and she said she was not sure about that. There's also a flash drive found in the glove box, but they did not indicate what was on this flash drive. But either way, it was definitely some damning testimony to hear about all of the blood that was found in David's garage that definitely matched to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, because that they did test. And also to hear about these stains on the back seat and in the rear cargo of David's Tesla that did glow for blood. The reason I find this so interesting is because we do know there is a gap in time where prosecutors are alleging that Celeste passed away on April 23rd till when she was dismembered, that they claim on May 5th. And the reason they're saying that is because David didn't order everything until about a week later for that. So one question a lot of
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He had to hop off. He went to Santa Barbara, drove back, and then he had to go. I know, right? Let the cameras roll. Let's tell it all. Mrs. Redhead, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Baja, way too much evidence if they mishandle something, I'd think. Yeah, definitely a poser. I mean, hey, I would support a young black man like that if he were doing good things. I would say, man, that's awesome. He could be a role model to these, the black community and younger kids that want to have a career and get these endorsements. But no, this is what he goes and does. He's a pedo, and then he goes a step further to mutilate her body after taking her life. He just erased her. Well, so he thought. All right.
us want to know is, where was Celeste during this whole week time frame? Because also during this time frame, David was busy with his album launching and he was doing performances. It seems like right after he launched his album and did all of these performances is when the body bag and everything started to be ordered when he got back. So it will be interesting to see if they actually forensically tested these red stains that were glowing for blood in David's backseat of his Tesla. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
And I love seeing the timeline laid out
like about all this in the comments.
It just makes it easier to see how evil and methodical. Evil and methodical.
This in the comments
that he went about this. I mean, look at this. This is the Bandland pop-up day or pop-up day one where he cried performing Afterlife, and that was the day after he killed her, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. He let her bleed out. Then April 26th, he's got day two, like nothing. Just, oh yeah, I cried. I performed this song and he cried, and that was it. Yay! Let's do some backflips. Then days later, he travels from New York to Houston and performs and cries during Afterlife. Right? I mean, this guy is just, and then he goes on to perform and to go about his business like nothing to see here. Oh, that makes me so mad. All right, let's continue. Let's get into, let's do a couple more of these recaps. This is all from today, but I'm using different people.
Okay, folks, so I just came out of the David preliminary hearing day 2, and there was some very crazy information coming out. I'm going to do a couple of different videos about the information that's come out so far, but to me, there was a crazy admission by Beth Silverman. It was objected to, but she revealed some information that I think is going to be big down the line. Apparently, David had a security guard. He used to stay at the house. Apparently, he would drive Celeste and David around. Apparently, he would drive them to nightclubs and bars where they would use their fake IDs. And apparently, he had a very close relationship with them. It was very, very interesting. It all came from kind of this financial manager who didn't want to answer those questions. He confirmed that there was a security guard. Beth Silverman kept asking these questions about what did he know about the minor? What was he doing with, driving them around, all of that kind of stuff. It sounded really damning, but the defense really shut that down. So we're going to probably hear more of that down the line. But that was the first major update, but I'm going to hit you guys with some more in another video.
So, I mean, are you hearing this? These are the people that are going to be testifying at the trial. And I'm sure the prosecution is going to bulldog these people. Right? There was no chest freezer that he ordered. He had a Dippin' Dot freezer in the house, but apparently it wasn't used. He also busted an ashtray. Oh, I love that. I love that flip. Oh my God. And I guess when they arrested him, I don't know if that was the body cam and the arrest. He had his bonnet on, his stinky bonnet. What, you used to love him? What happened? I don't even think his diamonds were real. If it was, he only had one. If you notice, his jewelry is always like the same. It's this one particular piece. All right. Clar made it. We sent out a bolo for you, Clar. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I'm going to give some in a minute too, in a little bit when I can actually play a video for more than like a minute. All right, let's continue with the updates because these are the important things so that we can talk about all the other things that are equally as important. It is important.
David's financial manager took the stand, and the
I don't think this
information we just learned is really sketchy. He testified how David's mother was moving assets when David was under investigation, so they knew all of this was going down. And it sounds like they're almost doing it, in my opinion, that way in case Celeste's family tries to file a civil lawsuit against them. I think this testimony is key for the prosecution for their special circumstance under the murder charge, financial gain, because it's showing how much money David was bringing in at the time that Celeste passed away. And it's because the prosecutors are trying to prove that this is one of the reasons why David allegedly took out Celeste when she was trying to expose their illegal relationship. Testified from 2023 to 2025, David was grossing about $10 to $11 million in income. That included him signing to Interscope Records. This financial manager of David's testified that once Celeste was found in the frunk of David's Tesla, David's mother and David's business managers moved to secret communications on WhatsApp. Went on to testify it wasn't his decision to use these encrypted sites, but he was asked to do it. Went on to testify that he actually still works for David's mother, and he's on a $7,500 retainer to try to find David a new entertainment lawyer. He went on to testify that after David was arrested, David actually had a trust that had $2 million in it, and he helped David's mom move it in case they needed to use it to bail David out of jail. Went on to say that even one of David's houses was supposed to be used as collateral, but the other wasn't. And that's kind of odd because I remember the documentation coming out at the beginning, way before David was even arrested, that he
Yeah, I think most of his assets, whether they be a house or what have you, I think most of it was, I think there's definitely a big amount in the bank, and they're going to be using that to fund his defense. And I don't know why, because he doesn't have a defense. I mean, I guess he does have a defense, and that will start to shape up as we continue. But I just can't see what it is other than semantics. I left you a case suggestion on your question. You posted it. Well, thank you, April, over shares. I appreciate that. Yeah, Foxy, I think, is out teaching today, probably. It's hard for me to know everybody's schedule, but Synth is taking a break today, and Foxy, I think. But hey, we're happy that Mab investigates, Mama Pearl, Tiff, Kelsey, and I got freaking Holly. I don't get Holly all the time. So, yes, Rob Morgenroth flew this. Yes, that's what we're going to get into. We're also talking about that. I'm trying to brief you on everything that happened today.
Transferred his homes into his mom's name. And then the prosecutors go on and question him about this. And this financial manager said that he told David's mom that she should do this because these properties were the family's home, not just David. So David needed to transfer these to his mama's name. Prosecutors wasted no time asking this financial manager, was it really because you were trying to hide assets in case you get a civil lawsuit? He said he doesn't recall making that statement or transferring any documents. But he did testify that he did provide David's mother with someone that could transfer titles. He went on to testify that he is not someone that talked to David often. He never talked about all of these finance things to David a lot. The person he was always in contact with was David's mother. And you know what? After David's parents, tried to not go to the grand jury and everything, I'm kind of surprised they didn't show up to this preliminary hearing today to support their son. This is where court ended for the day. So we will reconvene tomorrow and I'll have more details in tomorrow's hearing. And if I see anything else before then, I'll.
All right. And, I have a full 10-minute recap from Lauren Conlon that was in there today. I'm not going to do that just yet. But yeah, let's continue going. Let's talk about this. If you guys saw something that I missed today, let me know. I'm going to bring you to X real quick so I can show Flojo got right in the middle of Lauren Conlon. That was awesome. Awesome to see my guy. I think he's busy too because I messaged him and he usually messages me right back. So you guys should definitely go sub up to Flojo on X and me. I don't think many of you are following Guilty of Crime, but you should be. And well, it's free, guys. So Lauren Conlon, yesterday, media crews are arriving outside the Clara Shortridge Falls Criminal Justice Center. And look at there, our boy, Flojo. That's our guy right there. Shout out to Flojo. He's just an awesome guy. So you listen, Denise, I'm glad that you're bringing this up because we saw the text messages from her talking to her friend and Gus. She was already being raped at the age of allegedly 10 years old. Thank you for talking about that. We looked at those messages yesterday where she talks to her friend about it hurting. It hurt her to have sex with David, but not all the time. But Gus, who allegedly did that to her, was great. You can't have sex with a 10-year-old consensually. So he was obviously graping her, right? It's trigger warning, so I don't want to talk like a child and be like graping and pew pew. I hate that. But, I don't want to trigger anybody either. Well, you stay away from X for what? Justice for Celeste. I like X. I only use it to find my what I need to find. Man, so that in that case, she was already groomed nice and early. And I bet you anything, David knew about her being assaulted by this Gus character so young, and I bet he took advantage of that. All right, yeah, I agree. Thank you, Holly, for saying that. There's Mr. Flojo. Shout out to Flojo. Go sub up to him. Let me just take a look. I posted a couple things that I wanted to just look back on real quick. Like these things that we caught. This is Brian Enton. And then the Celeste Rivas truck. That was yesterday. I showed you.
David?
He ain't gonna want to tell you, dude.
Sure?
He ain't gonna tell you. David, if you're in there, I hope you rot in hell, you murderer. You fucked up your whole life, bruh.
Oh, really?
Dipshit. Fucking murderer. Fuck you. I hope you end up being someone's bitch in prison.
Yes, I can hear that again and again.
Is that David? Is that David?
Guys, I love this for him. I hope that he could see the people yelling at him and he could hear and sense the anger surrounding this case. I really do. I don't think he really cares, though, but he only cares, in my opinion, at that moment. So maybe if he accidentally catches a glimpse of her family or something really terrible, some CSAM evidence comes out and maybe his parents catch an eye. That's the only thing I think he cares about is just right then and there. But he only cares about himself, in my opinion. Now, we just look at the David Celeste van. David and Celeste had they had a shared Spotify. I love finding this stuff that they shared a playlist on, and that was found during the case. And then they say David was caught playing Fortnite despite being investigated. This one, I don't know what he's holding. If anyone wants to fill me in, I actually wish Flojo was here because he knows this case inside and out. It says, I was looking back at the old pic of David in 2023 until I noticed something strange. So he's holding something in his hand, and then it zooms up. It says, it cannot be another coincidence. Does anyone know what that is? And thank you, Mrs. Redhead. Love your discussions on the different cases you cover. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea how much it means to me that you guys support me the way you do. All right. I really do. I can't say it enough to you guys. I couldn't do this without you. So thank you. I don't know about that, man. I mean, maybe we'll see. Oh, yeah. Best comment of the day. Where's Flojo? Is he in here? Where's Flojo? Summing Flo. Yeah, the stinky bonnet. I bet you the bonnet stunk as bad as the bathroom. Like when he was saying someone took a shit. I bet you that's how his bonnet smelled. Nasty. Ugh. Place was packed. Crazy Jane. Where's Crazy Jane? Where's my girl? All right, I'm gonna continue, but I want to. The license plate says Celeste. Oh shit! Thank you. See, sometimes you pay attention, you focus so hard on something, you miss it. It does show that. It says Celeste. It's Celeste 885. Coincidence? There's no coincidences in true crime. All right, let's continue. Let's look at this real quick. All right, so look at this, guys. Here it is. And listen. I'm glad that David is such a cocky bastard and his ego drives him as much as it drives him to do what he did to Celeste. But look at that. Come on. All signs point to David. I mean, he didn't know she was that age, but he's sharing a playlist with her. And this goes back till the age of 11. When Celeste was 11, he was already grooming her, in my opinion. Crazy Jane. Hey, right? He's infamous now. I don't know if he's going to run out of money. I think his parents will keep it up. And I do think they're going to continue releasing music. And who knows, guys, just think about this. What if they use his music and release that under his brother's name? Would we know the difference? Would any of you guys know the difference between his garbage music and his brother's? Because it all hasn't been released. Just saying. I have a feeling they're going to take some of that and use it to gain money for his brother. Isn't it, Caleb? All right, let's continue. So anyway, this is here. He was playing Fortnite. Look at this. David the coolest. He was, in my opinion, and many people said this, David was hiding out. Remember when they arrested him? You guys remember when they arrested him, right? Do I have that? When they arrested David, they went into the house. You could see up in the front. A bunch of people stormed the house and they brought him out. They said it looked like he was waiting for something to happen. He was literally holed up in his house, and there was pictures of like snacks and drinks and things, and he's wearing these baggy sweats and this sweater that looks like he wiped his hands all over it. All right. I think he knew they were coming to arrest him. He was following all the things, and he was on that game talking to other young females. Because remember, guys, they found CSAM in his phone that didn't pertain to Celeste. You thought that too? I think so, man. I do. I think Caleb's going to come out and release it. His mom's going to be his manager, and they're going to make some money, in my opinion. Auntie Ree with the avocados. Big hugs. Big hugs. Big hugs. All right. Manson related from prison, didn't he? That's a good question. His music sucked as well. So he writes music every day. I would think so. I bet he has boatloads of music written down. All right. You peeps, I'm late. Hey, what's up? What do you mean? What other victims? Oh, yeah. They found CSAM on his phone in the terabytes of evidence that pertained to victims under the age of, I think, 14 and minors, and they were not Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I don't know. That's a good question. We'll see. All right, so he was hiding out in that mansion, or he called it the cottage. He would take Celeste there, and they would have their sexcapades at that house where they arrested him, and he just was there. playing Fortnite and different games. All right, so here's this. I just want to, the items used. I want to take a look at this real quick. That's what I showed you earlier. A shovel that was purchased from Postmates, 2 chainsaws that were purchased on May 1st through Amazon. And then we have a missing one, a red and pink 16-inch saw, a pink and black. And then they testified both chainsaws were recovered, but one of them wasn't. I don't know the color of that one. And when I say that, I'm showing you this. You know, we're visual around here. So they testified about what they found in his garage during the September 2025 search. Also, in May of 2025, the inflatable pool was purchased May 3rd. That, again, was through Amazon by Trayvon Davis, delivered to Doheny. So he used different names, guys. A Makita chainsaw was ordered from Home Depot, identified through Uber Postmates. And then a mop, a Libman mop and buck spin mop bucket was purchased from Lowe's, identified through Uber and Postmate records, coming back to his credit card. All right. Then on May 5th, the cadaver bag labeled City Morgue was purchased through Amazon by Trayvon Davis again and delivered to Doheny. Now, 2 days later, he orders more, but he orders a heavy-duty laundry bag, which also was from Amazon. Then, guys, May 5th, he waits a month and 2 days and orders a burn cage. Yes, a burn cage, until he realizes 5 days later, he's going to need a fireproof mat so he doesn't burn the concrete outside or the house. So what does he do? He buys a mat and he realizes he can't do that there. You're not going to be able to cremate somebody there. All right. So, man, this guy, but I got to tell you guys this. I got to tell you that people are saying they shouldn't sell body bags on Amazon. I'm going to tell you why they should. They should. Why not? Look at the evidence that we're gathering in this case, that we're seeing come out. The evidence that we're seeing come out, all because of his stupidity. Amazon, please continue selling body bags, but while you're at it, please track what the body bags are being used for. Is it a funeral home? Are you using it for remains of a pet? What are you doing with those body bags? All right. I think they should absolutely sell them. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. How you doing, Mr. Boys? I hear ya. Oh, you didn't see that, Denise? He purchased a burn mat. We're going to continue on this. All your kill equipment found on Amazon. Yes, and easily tracked. All right, easily tracked. Koberger and his knife. I thought Koberger was innocent. Just kidding. I do not think that, and I'll never think that. That Koberger case echoed Ted Bundy so hard. I can't even say enough about Koberger and Bundy. Thank you. I appreciate that, MP Dodge. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support, guys. I really do. Anyone who orders body bags on Amazon, they should be flagged. I agree. I absolutely agree that there should be some kind of some type of policing when you buy something like that. Like you go on there and you try to buy chemicals, right? You're searching for chemicals to burn bodies. That should be a flag. Walmart, there should be a flag. Amazon Kill Kit. Hey, Jamie, good to see you, my friend. I've been seeing you on the streets of YouTube. I think I saw you on Dolly the other day. I don't know. Hey, girl. Okay, so look, this echoes him being bored in court. They say he was focused on the material, didn't break contact, didn't break his eyes on the evidence, but he looked bored. All right. And then again, this is from yesterday, so I'm just kind of showing you what they drew. They got the different saws. They showed a description of her fingers being cut, and then these are all pictures. And I want you to remember, they said that her face had melted off. She had skin slippage on her face. And because she was so decomposed in the heat with her body liquefying, her face came off. So when you do see these bags, Trapmore Ross, he describes that as looking at a bag of meat that you would see if you go to a butcher, right? And they had to see these pictures. This bag here was her head on the top and her torso underneath with a bunch of dried blood. And then here is a bag of arms and legs with missing parts. All right. So you can see some of the stuff, the different chainsaws, the bags, the city morgue bag, whatever this was, maybe a hamper. And then they actually have her right knee, a picture of her right knee. Ugh. All right. That's a judge. And then, that's the one that that's going to be ingrained in our brain for a really long time. So let's continue. What else do I got for you, my friends? All right. Financial management was a key focus. So we know that. LAPD criminalized 11 air fresheners. Damn, 11 air fresheners. Did you guys know that he had 11 freaking air fresheners? All right, let me do this, and then I'll put you on to the next video, the latest. Let me put this. All right, so here's the deal. This is what everybody's talking about. Is there going to be enough evidence to get this to a trial? And did the defense mess up with any of the evidence?
For singer David to stand trial for murder resumes this morning.
He's accused of killing 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez and dismembering her body. More testimonies and evidence are expected to be presented in court on day 2 of this preliminary hearing. Cameras are not allowed inside the courtroom. Yesterday, the singer, whose legal name is David Burke, sat in court as prosecutors laid out evidence against him. It was difficult for the victim's parents, of course, to see crime scene photos of their daughter's body.
Mercedes still hasn't been able to wrap her head around that. Celeste was killed in such a gruesome, horrible manner. She can't understand how anyone could be so vile.
Vile, evil.
It's very difficult. Burke has pleaded not guilty. The hearing is set to resume at about 9:30 this morning. Attorney Rachel Fassé has been following this case since the beginning and joins us now with her insight. Thank you for being with us. We've been talking about this preliminary hearing, and it does include this graphic evidence.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it just a little bit because when these analysts talk about it, they give us insight into the legal strategies that are happening and unfolding in the case and what we can expect. All right. Clark, huge hug to you, my girl. Thank you so much. She said, I sent you a birthday prize, arrives on July 25th. I appreciate that. Clark, can't wait to meet you. All right. Indy Isham. All right. Let's see what the legal analyst has to say, and then we're going to get back into it.
And testimony. What are prosecutors trying to establish at this stage? And why is it necessary to show all of this right now?
They are trying to establish probable cause, and probable cause is not.
There it is. They got to establish probable cause, and they need to make sure what they're putting out to as evidence for the prosecution isn't going to conflict with something they didn't do or something they didn't have, and the defense. Thank you, Under Your Scars, so much. Enjoy your time with the family. Choo choo. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's I going to say? Oh, yeah, I'm going to gift a membership. So, guys, dropping your comments and hitting the like will get you a membership. I want to see you with the membership. Thank you.
The standard beyond a reasonable doubt. The judge simply has to determine that there is enough evidence on each count that has been alleged, plus the special circumstances, to go forward to trial, where the prosecutors will do it again with more evidence in more detail in front of a jury. So that is what they're trying to establish. But each piece of evidence is going to a specific element of one of the crimes or special circumstances that have been alleged. And the evidence is gruesome. It is awful. I think the murder it has been established. There's not much more to do here relating to the fact that there's probable cause for this to proceed. It's just each of the counts, each of the elements.
Okay, so that makes more sense to me than just okay, we're trying to establish probable cause, and you guys are probably all looking at me, rolling your eyes like, Jay, there's a ton of probable cause. What are you talking about? But listen, as much as we see the evidence and the witnesses that saw Celeste, friends that were with them, parents that met her, all the lies, the financial motive, guys, they want to make sure that each one of those 3 charges that are very serious are going to go through and he will be prosecuted for the maximum. They are also deciding on whether it should be a death penalty case or LWOP, life without the possibility of parole. Yes, there is lots of evidence, but they charged hard. They charged 3 big charges with aggravating factors. All right. So they're going hard at this. I don't even think they want to give him a plea deal. MP West, shout out to MP West. Jay, new subscriber. Thank you for the coverage of these cases. You're very welcome. Please come back and hang out with us again. I'm going to gift a membership, so stick with us. All right. Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. All right, let's go.
And unfortunately, that is painstaking.
Right. There's a lot of elements here. You brought up those special circumstances, so let's talk about those. Lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and murder of a witness, and the DA will decide whether to seek the death penalty. What makes those allegations particularly difficult to prove in court?
Well, in short, the allegation is that he got her a ride share to come to her house in April and killed her at that point, knowing he was going to kill her. He brought her there. That's lying in wait. There are text messages as it relates to them having a fight. She is threatening to expose him. Everybody knows that having a relationship with a 14-year-old is illegal. And there was apparently an investigation already into the statutory rape.
Guys, there you go. When I first heard that Celeste was a witness turned victim, I said, dear Lord, they're going to come at him hard. Now, I believe prosecution, I think DA and the prosecutors, I think that they're pissed. I think that they're pissed that they couldn't arrest him on day one. They're mad because they went to his house and he lied, straight out lied to them. They're using those lies. But guys, this should never have happened. The fact that law enforcement, the fact that he was on the law enforcement radar and Celeste was on the radar as a missing freaking person under the age of 18. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's either very cocky and egotistical or he just didn't care that he was going to get caught. It just doesn't make sense. Real bitch, X coming back, then gore porn. Like, what the? Yeah, he does need help. I don't think he's going to get that, nor do I care. Also, when it came out that there was more CSAM on his phone than just Celeste, I'm like, this guy's a pedo. He's a pedo, and he's always going to be one. Do a stream with Flojo so I can catch one. I know. I'm trying, Kimberly. Flojo, where are you? All right. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. All right. Let's go.
That is being alleged between him and her. So those are the 2 other elements, that he is killing a witness as part of that investigation. And he's doing it for financial gain, which is so she doesn't expose him and kill his career. He was about to launch his second album.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. At the same time, Burke's defense team strongly maintaining his innocence. Of course, they would as his defense team, even though the evidence presented publicly appears overwhelming. What are the biggest legal hurdles prosecutors still face, though, before they can secure a conviction here?
Well, again, we're just at the probable cause stage, and I don't see a lot of legal hurdles here. I'll be honest. What I think we're going to see once this case proceeds is a lot of fighting the evidence, a lot of arguing with how it was collected, whether it's admissible, whether it connects him to the crime or not. So I think they're going to really go through all of the evidence. And there is so...
He just doesn't, I mean, there's nothing here. There's nothing here to say that he gives 2 shits about anything, even himself. I mean, I just... save it for later. I know. I agree. I think they might be able to find that. I believe so too. But when you start looking for a jury for the death penalty, and then you got to start thinking about sequestering the jury because this is such a high profile case. So there's a lot of things that they have to determine in deciding the death penalty aside from the evidence. All right. After GOC, I'm done taking the dogs out and going to bed. Well, lucky you. MM Clar, You see my new ring, Clark? I showed the wife, and she said, I didn't know that you didn't have it. I was like, look at my new piercing right here, and here. And she's like, oh, I thought you always had that. All right, cab driver. Oh yeah, they got that too. The defense, they didn't. The defense tries to implicate anybody else but David, but it's not gonna fly. That cab driver is just there to testify about picking Celeste up, bringing her to David's, and him paying for it with his card. I know. I think so, Inquisitive P. I think that's part of it.
So much of it. And the defense is going to pick apart whether that evidence can be used in court. And they will come up with creative arguments. They will come up with process. They're already bringing up how police collected it, what the process was in the investigation for the collection. So I think we're going to see a lot of procedural arguments, some of which will likely win. So that's really what we will be watching for between the time this hearing is over and the time of a trial.
Okay, we'll continue to watch this, Rachel. We appreciate your insight this morning, and it is so.
Yeah, I like that she's being honest about going to trial, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know, but really, badass. Maggie, rot in prison and then hell. Go get it done, Kimberly. Do it. Everything is tracked. Hey, butter my nug. All right, let's continue. This just came out, so I'm going to go to this a little bit because they're having a discussion on Sidebar here about what happened in court and some of the things you didn't see today or you didn't hear from me. So that's maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then I've got David's shopping list right from Amazon. All right. So buckle up, buckle in. Thank you guys for being here. I was torn if I should keep covering this or if I should switch to something else, but now you guys got me locked into this. I'll cover it until it's done, I guess. All right, let's take a look here. I got a good summary, but let's look and see what they have to say.
Of the preliminary hearing of accused child killer David. Air fresheners in the car, finances, a possible security guard. Not only are we going to get into the substance of the morning session of this hearing, but our reporter got very close to David in court. And what she observed was interesting. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, so we got day 2 of this preliminary hearing in the David case. Remember, he's facing first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, unlawful mutilation of human remains charges, all in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose decomposed, dismembered body was allegedly found in the front trunk of a Tesla, allegedly registered to him. This was back in September of 2025. This is a hearing where the court will determine if there's enough evidence for this to go forward to trial. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into what happened now in the morning session.
Yeah, stop wasting time, buddy.
Our eyes, our ears.
Stop wasting time, dude. Thank you, MP West. I have been covering it, and I agree. It's very important that these monsters get exposed, and especially the Hollywood folks that think that they can buy their way out of anything. I mean, Diddy just about did. I can't believe that Diddy only got like 4.5 freaking years. Unbelievable. He looked awful as a blonde. Haha, grocery list. Yeah. Yes, the cab driver. Look it. They're going to play there's semantics and putting on a show. Defense is going to put on a show and they're going to find the weak points in what the prosecution is laying out. Bottom line, that's what trials are. It's not about who's telling the truth. It's about who can tell a better story and have evidence to back it up.
Someone who's been in that courtroom for the past 2 days, including this morning session. So happy to have her. NBC LA reporter Julie Dang, who I must tell you, terrific notes. I'm looking at the live notes that you've been sending us. So detailed, so thorough. Again, excellent work. Before we even get into the substance of what has happened in this morning session, you have to tell us what you've been seeing in that courtroom, specifically David, right? Because I understand
This is crazy how many people are actually covering this case. I'm glad I am too, but when I go look for the coverage, I can't find anything that's solidified. Like, here's what happened, here are the little details, here's this, here's that. And I guess that's where I come in. All right, so I'm glad they're here covering this. We've definitely had, Matt Thibodeau, Kadesha Lynn, freaking Trapmore Ross, Sloan. I've been watching Sloan's coverage. Down the rabbit hole. She wasn't in the courthouse, but she's covering it nicely.
You got really, really close to him today, right? What did you see?
I know.
I did, Jesse. But first, I just want to tell you again, it is such a treat to be on this show with you because I love watching it. So yes, I was sitting right behind David this morning. I somehow got a seat in front of where they were seating other reporters. I think it's because I actually walked in a little bit later than everybody else did. So because of that, they had me seated on the end of one of the attorneys' rows in that courtroom. And I was right behind David. He didn't look too great. His hair is grown out. He is unshaven. He's wearing that LA County jail.
That's interesting because he shaved yesterday and he was all ready to go, trying to look all innocent. So I like the descriptions. And yes, I love Brian Enton too. I failed to mention his name. But if you go back to my description, I tagged everybody. All right. You think, Brian Enton's definitely, they're all pretty good looking. I don't think we would be following somebody that has an eyeball on their forehead and extra teeth, right? Just saying.
Uniform, that orange jumpsuit, and he still has his feet and his waist shackled. He's not wearing handcuffs though, so he was kind of splayed out in his chair, arms on his armrests. I could see his yellow legal notepad that he had laid out in front of him. So I was trying to take a peek, trying to see if he was taking any notes. He didn't have anything written down. There definitely were moments this morning during cross-examination of witnesses where he did lean in and talk to his attorneys. The first time I noticed that, it was during cross-examination related to financial management. They were essentially talking about how much money he made through his record deal and how that money was divvied up.
I bet you his parents did get a lot of that money. I'm sure they're using it as well. He just is not flashy. He's not a flashy dude. He didn't own a car. It was all rented. The houses were rented. I guess one house in Texas was his, but then he put it over to his mom. He's not going to be able to spend $10 million ever. Not with commissary and extortion. Yeah, the cab driver was with her the last 2 to 3 hours of her life. And I think it's disgusting that they put the blame on him, but that's what they do. Yes, you guys like that. You guys like easy on the eyes people. All right. Yeah, he does look like Sideshow Bob. And then he puts a bonnet on and it's like freaking Aunt Jemima 2.0. Like, what are you doing, bro? Yes, the financial motive they're saying the motive is financial due to $10 million that he made from 2022 to 2025. And guys, that's not even including his endorsements. He had endorsements by Crocs. What are the other ones I told you about? I don't know. He had several endorsements. I can't find that right this second, but he had, I know Crocs was one of them and 2 other major companies that he was getting money for. And I gotta say, if any of you out there want to be rich, even if your music sucks and you have no talent, make music because you're always going to get paid. Oh my God, I can't even play a snippet of something without them trying to take my, monetization for it. And that happens. It could be a 30-year-old song. They pay you for it. Couldn't even call. No, she was talking about Brian Enton, JoJo. We're not talking about David at all. Not even a little bit. David's not handsome. Chomos we don't like around here, and nobody's saying that. So please come out of the bushes and let us know that we didn't say that. We said Brian Enton. I know he used it. That's the only reason he started doing that is because he couldn't monetize his gameplay with other people's music. So he started doing that. And then, guys, it works though. That's the thing.
And because so many people were involved in this operation, so many people were making money off of him, to put it bluntly. And that's a key part of this case, because murder for financial gain is one of the special circumstances here that makes this eligible for the death penalty. But the district attorney, Nathan Hochman, did say yesterday they haven't actually decided yet if that's something they're going to pursue.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because the idea is, and I'm going to get to the witnesses who testified today, if they can show how lucrative his career was, and $11.5 million, that if Celeste came out and exposed him for this alleged illegal sexual relationship, she was going to take it all away. So the more they can amplify that.
Are you guys surprised that he didn't get rid of more evidence? I mean, we're talking about finding a decomposed, dismembered body inside of a rental Tesla. And then who knows what else they found at the home. But I mean, are you surprised that he didn't get rid of some of that evidence while he was just sitting there all holed up? I just don't like that bonnet. He looks like a knockoff Aunt Jemima. I'm like, why are you wearing that, bro? And it stinks, I'm sure. He's always got the same black bonnet on, no matter where he is. He did that like little dating show clip where I knew damn well he didn't want that girl. He only likes girls that are under the age of 15? Did Celeste get too old for you, buddy? Retha, good to see you, my friend. Right? I don't know why we got rid of Aunt Jemima anyway.
Yeah, I get where they're going. I get what they're trying to do. Before, again, we get into the substance, I also understand that Celeste's family was back in that courtroom. We talked about yesterday how incredibly difficult it was for them to have to sit through the photos of Celeste's body dismembered, found in that Tesla. What was it like to see them in court today?
It's really tough. You know, Jesse, I told you yesterday, I cannot begin to imagine what they are going through. Yesterday, I was sitting directly behind them, 3 rows behind. Today, I'm sitting at an angle in the row right behind where they're seated. So I can see both of their facial expressions, the mother and father of Celeste. And I actually just ran into her mother, Mercedes, again, upstairs in the restroom. It's really tough. Where we just wrapped before this lunch break.
Now, I don't think we're going to hear much from the parents. We're not going to hear much from the parents now, but if this goes to trial, I think we will hear from them, and we're going to get some more answers on why they let her continue to run. Inquisitive P says, I'm just saying, no one likes that damn thing. I know is that what it was? The PC? I like Aunt Jemima. I know the smell with the video of Neo and I don't know, Sheikah. Sloppy thought he was invincible, but you can't be that invincible. Come on, dude, get real.
We were hearing testimony from an LAPD criminologist. This was one of the officers called to investigate after the Tesla was towed to one of their tech centers. So we were looking at photos the prosecutor was showing the court of 11 different air fresheners that were found in that Tesla. I mean, Celeste's remains had been in there decomposing, likely for months. So to cover up that smell, somebody put nearly a dozen air fresheners, not just inside the car, but actually in the front trunk. Yeah.
Now, guys, don't Teslas record everything? Isn't there like cameras in here and there and this and that? Yes, his mom did. His mom said, well, make your own music, dummy. And he did. She does look like a baby. Yeah, the parents rub me the wrong way as well. But you guys, we're going to hear a lot more. I just noticed that the financial advisor changed his grand jury testimony, guys. He changed it from yesterday's transcript. If you go back and look at the grand jury testimony where he testified, he changed it and acknowledged that he had asked manager Rob Morgenroth exactly what happened after the body was found in David's Tesla. Did you guys know that? Right? His answer, Gregor's answer, Benjamin Gregor is the financial advisor and Rob is the manager. So when he answered that, his answer wasn't entirely clear, but for some reason, Beth Silverman didn't attempt to clarify it. And he said he did tell me, yes, but didn't go into any other further detail. Right there, you're seeing somebody lying on the stand, and I have a suspicion that's going to happen again. And then shortly after that conversation, the financial advisor began coordinating with David's mom to raise $2 million for bail. Did you guys hear that? They put a like a GoFundMe or some kind of fundraiser for $2 million in anticipation of his arrest. If that doesn't tell you anticipation for being guilty, and based on the testimony, the perceived need for bail money, it was believed reasonable to infer that Morgan Roth or Rob knew Celeste was murdered and that David was the suspect or would be. Guys, so I saw some people earlier talking about lying, getting caught lying on the stand. Well, there you go. He changed his story.
And that's where the cadaver bags with her remains were found. So it's not just that this crime was committed, it's that somebody went to truly horrifying lengths, Jesse, to try and cover up their tracks. I could see her parents kind of shrinking into themselves and moving a little bit closer together when those photos came up.
Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to, I wouldn't want her parents to see this and hear me talking shit about them. They've got enough troubles. They're missing their daughter. I'm sure they have major guilt for not making her stay her ass home or not saying, hey, you're going to freaking, you're going to go to juvenile hall if you keep running away, and then take her away. Yeah, right? Can you imagine? You've got millions of dollars. Your financial advisor is saying $10 million from the last 3 years with different companies that were endorsing him, and they put a GoFundMe for $2 million for his defense. That's messed up. I hope people don't. I hope people didn't donate, but they probably did.
So many elements of this that are horrifying in ways I don't think we can fully imagine for them. So I'm curious to see what their attorney, what their wrongful death attorney, who's not actually involved in this criminal case, what he has to say to us later today. We chatted briefly upstairs. It sounds like he is going to take more questions from us later today.
Let me ask you now about the testimony. So they continue the testimony of Benjamin Gregor. I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly. This Mogul Vision finance director, this business associate of David, talking about David's finances. Talk to me about what the start of today's testimony was like. And by the way, I was reading, is he an interesting witness? Is he a bit combative in a way? Is his testimony not consistent with what he told?
Oh yeah, he's going to talk about that now too, about the grand jury testimony versus now. They love money more than the welfare of their daughter, and they have to live with that forever. Hey, Summer of '88, what's up, girl? How you doing? Parents had the daughter dismembered. Problem. I know that's the thing. Thank you, Mom. You're right. We learn as we go. The parents' second language was here. Who knows what Celeste was feeding to them? And guys, she was being raped by a guy named Gus. All right, prior to, I guess he's passed now, but where were they when she was being sexually abused prior to that? I don't know what her life looks like, but it seems like we're going to start getting a picture painted for us. It's hard to place to have the money, and he has lots of big fight for parents. I'm not sure. I
told the grand jury. So what exactly is the tone of his testimony, and what did he say today?
Jesse, that's a really gentle way of putting it. Inconsistent. Yeah, I noted that yesterday. I sent you guys a couple notes about that as it was happening. Yes, he does come across as a little bit combative when he's talking to prosecutors, when he's talking to the deputy DA here, Beth Silverman. When she was cross-examining him, there were several instances where he gave her answers that not just misaligned, but were in direct opposition to what he apparently said during grand jury hearings. And she was actually referencing transcripts from those secret grand jury hearings to verify that.
I'm glad she did that because she made him look like a liar. LAPD absolutely has the conversations, Denise. That is why we have a motive of financial gain, because they have text messages from Celeste telling David, I'm going to tell on you and I'm going to ruin your career. Then shortly after, he calls her over. She takes a long ride, and within 20 minutes, they believe that she was already dead. So he lied in wait. That was the lying in wait circumstances of him waiting for her to get there and the conversations between the two, what happened. All right. You saw the court video, not perfect situation. Thank you for the 100 gems.
Be like, wait a minute, did you mean this house or the other house was going to be put up as collateral so David could make bail? And then she asked him very pointedly several times, is your testimony accurate today or was it accurate then? So I think any instance where a witness is apparently changing their story on the stand, it makes you wonder, who had they been talking to? You know, was some kind of deal perhaps discussed or even struck? Why did their story change? And then obviously, what's in it for them? Because when he was being cross-examined by defense attorneys, I didn't note the same kind of misalignment. You know, there were more instances of Benjamin Gregor, who was one of the financial managers.
And guys, you gotta tell me this. I know it's not just me, but when you look at him in the younger years, this wasn't too much. This wasn't too far out. Probably 2022, 2023. His whole look changes to me. It's like he became dark and disturbing. And I'm not saying that he didn't have those thoughts then, but I don't know. Something about him looks a lot more innocent. I know. She plainly, flat out said, I'm going to expose you and tell and ruin your career. All right. Am I the only one that sees that? Yeah, the guy did get caught. Hello, Kitty. And here's the thing is we just want to discuss it because it's hard to believe. Belen, hey there. Thank you, Belen. Come here and hang out. Hit that like button. Make sure you get the notifications so you can come hang out with us every day. All right. Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. Make me wonder. So unbelievable that this happened. She doesn't. Hey, yo, how's it got? Hey, Kat, good to see you. Right? I don't know if you see that or not, but he looks a lot more innocent in the eyes. And then versus the time that he gets to this place right here. Like, look at him there and how like he seems to progressively get darker. And in his mugshot, it's even worse. He looks like a freaking demon in his mugshot. It's like he's all black.
For David, when he first came to LA as a musical artist, there were more instances of Gregor telling defense attorneys, yes, that's correct. That's the case. No. Correct. I agree. I did not hear that when he was answering questions from the prosecutor.
So just to be clear, was his testimony supporting the idea that he had no idea about Celeste, that David was the one who was buying travel tickets for Celeste? Because a big theme of this is who would have known about this alleged secret sexual relationship? Was he trying to suggest that David was the one who was buying things and the travel all on his own and he had no part in it?
This was my takeaway from Benjamin Gregor's testimony, which is where we ended the hearing yesterday and where we started back up this morning.
Think about how unbelievable this is going to play out in court. People aren't going to believe how much evidence that he left. I mean, every time I see that picture of Celeste with David and the purse on her face, I remember the video that he filmed the day that he took her life. I think it was the day he either took her life or dismembered her. But right after that, right? That's what I like about you saying how many thanks. Hey, Kat. All right. I can't get the dogs right now, girl. I'm streaming. Look at his head exploding with his hair all splayed out. Yeah, he's sick AF, and I think he got darker over time. I mean, people do say that in the Hollywood industry, people do dark things to preserve their whatever it is that they preserve. There's some dark shit going on. David texted Celeste's mom using the phone number on the missing poster and told her to take the posters down. He knows where she is. He would take care of it. There you go. There's another piece of evidence right there. Like I said, they're going to look at this when this gets to trial. If it does, they're going to say, what?
Last actually did not come up at all. The entire thing was just about financial management. And the narrative that I felt like defense attorneys were trying to push here was the idea that David didn't manage his own finances. He was living independently in LA for the very first time, away from his family. They were still in Texas. His parents had 2 younger kids. David has a younger brother and a younger sister.
And there he is when he got his teeth done, guys. I told you that the other day because I've been covering this and too much. The other day he was in the back seat. There was a picture of him and Celeste and they were covering her face and he had like a silver tooth. Well, right after that, he went and got, this is the initiation to get into Hollywood. Pretty teeth. That's the number one thing, right? So there he is in that picture. Right? That's a thing. That's what I'm saying, Retha. He didn't have to take her life so brutally and then ruin his and everyone around it. He did look more innocent. Now he looks dark.
They were all out of state in Texas and he was in LA alone. So it sounded to me like they were trying to paint a picture of a young budding artist who was busy with his recording career, in meetings every day, in recording sessions, meeting with producers, and not really, involved in the day-to-day financial management. So it became clear in their line of questioning from defense attorneys.
What? Hello, Kitty. What? You're talking to me. Really want nice teeth? I have nice teeth. I pay for it, just like David did, but I'm not in Hollywood and I don't do dark shit. So shout out to you, Hello Kitty. You say some people really want nice teeth, brat. There's only a couple of people that call me a brat. Who the hell is Hello Kitty 5930? But you're welcome. You can that picture. No, I know. Hey, nothing wrong with having nice teeth. I'm just saying that's like the initiation. So that means I'm a step away from Hollywood, right? Just kidding. I know. I'm teasing you, Hello Kitty. I'm teasing you. That's what makes you guys come back because I interact with you and I don't ignore my chat, right? When I go into other chats on live streams, except for Mab and Flojo and even Dolly pays attention still. I know. I'm teasing you. That's what you guys like. You like me to interact with you. I could just ignore the chat.
That Benjamin Gregor was primarily dealing with
Look at that.
Burke. That's David's mother. She was the one who, according to Gregor, would pay half the rent on his house. She would pay bills.
And guys, it makes me so mad because he could have had this girl, that girl. He could have had 3 girls at once if he wanted to. Summer of '88 just became an official crime crew member. Please a warm welcome to Summer. And Summer Mondays. You'll want to free your schedule for Mondays from 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. On Mondays, we do members only. My choice of what I'm going to do. Members only giveaways, members only chat, or members only where no one else can come in. So welcome. All right. We give a lot of things away too. All right. Hey, Kim Wells, I'm glad you're here. My paycheck depends on y'all having teeth. Yeah, right? You ignore me. Don't ignore me. No. I just texted you earlier. What are you talking about? All right. What the fuck is an orange clown? I know, right? That's what happens, though. When you're dyeing your hair and you have that much, it's so dark and thick, it takes a while to get that color.
She set up companies in David's name for publishing, for merchandising. So I don't know. It sounds like the defense is trying to separate David somewhat from his finances. Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. But Celeste did not come up at all when they were talking to.
That's interesting. Maybe they're trying to say, yeah, he really didn't have a good sense of how much he had to lose, about how lucrative his career.
That's what I meant. And here's the problem: is he was entertaining younger females. I showed you guys the video where he was standing on the chair, and literally when guys wear sweats and they don't wear tighty whities, which guys, don't tell me if you wear tighty whities, please. I don't want to know. But when you wear when you wear boxers, that shit flaps around inside your sweats, dude. Every dude that walks around with sweats flapping it, so he's on the chair just flapping it to these little young girls watching him. But what I meant was he could have had any woman he wanted to. Thank you. He's a gooner. He could have had any woman, and he could have multiplied that by 3. Danielle, what's up? Welcome, Summer. Jay, you're doing a great job. Love your show. You crack me and my partner on a daily. We love your take on things. Well, thank you, Danielle. I do appreciate that. Cancer, the chemo destroyed me. Right? Well, you guys, hey, you know what? Dentists are expensive. All right. Yeah. See, there you go, HB Labs. You know what I'm talking about. It just flaps around, and he's doing that to these little girls. He could have had 3 women. He could have got a slip and slide, threw some baby oil like freaking Diddy did, and just go to town. But no, he wanted little girls. He's a gooner. Thank you.
But at the same time, I mean, how could he not know? Oh, I had to ask you, I saw this. Did Gregor mention this Sheldon character, this live-in security guard? Was that relevant to you?
Yeah, that came up this morning. I think all of this is trying to paint a picture of how removed David may have been from what was happening around him. But that's not the sense I got just looking at David's.
I mean, damn, guys, he literally, I mean, to me, he looks like he looks evil. He looks black. He looks dark. He does not look like the same kid or the same dude that we saw 3 years ago. Stop. I'm like a cutout. Yeah, they were her fans. She was trying to grow her database. You pictured that, right? Like just flapping around, flapping. Here's the little girls. Let's just flap around. Yeah, chemo. You guys, I'm not talking shit to anyone. I was just talking about literally his teeth and getting it fixed. You could see how he progresses as an artist and his look over time. And prior to that, it's like the same shirt, the same jeans. And then he starts coming up. And as he comes up, he just looks more evil. No, thank you. But yes, dentists are expensive, guys. All right. We're busting your nice white chops. I know. Y'all, hey, tattoos and teeth are expensive. Start a fund right now. There's a bodyguard living at his house. He knew about Celeste. Yeah, you guys come here so I can talk shit, right? Oh, dentures. What about regular teeth? All right.
Getting so close to him today. There was another witness who was called to the stand after Benjamin Gregor this morning from Interscope. And it was a similar line of questioning about accounts payable, how much money was made, money in, money out. And the way David was staring intently at the financial documents that were presented as exhibits, the way he was huddling with his own attorneys, and the way he seemed engaged during this cross-examination that, I'll be honest, was tedious. It was a little bit dry. I did not see many reporters around me, feverishly taking notes. But David's level of engagement during all of this makes me wonder if he actually had more of a hand in managing, or at the very least, understanding his own finances, how much he was worth, how much he was making, and how much more he could stand to make as an artist.
Talking about where I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, people probably started writing down feverishly. Someone from the California Highway Patrol testified, right? Can you tell us who that person was and what they testified to?
And mind you, this is the passport that was found and her ID. It makes me wonder what if the passport says her real name and how old they say she is. Because when we look at the ticket that he bought, said it was a child flying alone. It literally said if there's a minor, blah, 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 whatever. He weighs 125 when he's wet and wearing those tall boots. Don't forget that part. Oh my God. At least he didn't get grills like the Northwest. Oh my goodness.
So this was interesting for me personally, Jesse. It was a CHP officer, California Highway Patrol. He's assigned to the Santa Barbara area. As soon as he walked in and they said that, I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be the piece of testimony during prelim related to Lake Cachuma up in Santa Barbara County. So I love that area. I love Santa Barbara. I actually took a road trip up there a couple of weeks ago, back in June, because I wanted to check out State Road 154 myself. We all read in court documents that a Caltrans worker back in January apparently found Celeste's ID up there. And prosecutors have been alleging that David took a trip up there the day after Celeste was allegedly stabbed.
Can you, Indie Isham, can you do memberships? I hope they didn't turn my super chats off, because lately nothing has been monetized. YouTube's got this new AI system, and it doesn't matter if I say graping or raping. They just the topic at hand. If you don't mind, you try doing a membership for me just to see if it is not working the super chats. I'm just curious. Plus, there's a lot of people in here that are in the black. Anyway, you can't send you can't do anything. Anybody else having that trouble? That's not good. Not cool. They are not monetizing it, and I can't get super chats.
And left to bleed to death. He allegedly drove up there in his own car to dispose of the evidence. So this morning, the CHP officer testified that he was called to the scene after that Caltrans worker found the passport card. We actually saw a photo of that passport.
Now, if you guys, they saw a photo, I'm waiting to hear what she says. But Celeste, over the years, she gets taller and her face fills out. Some of the pictures that she's in make me wonder if she was pregnant at the time. They did talk about her being pregnant and maybe abortion, possibly. Hey, Arizona, good to see you. New code words, Kel. All right, thank you, Kel. Kel just tested out the membership and it was gifted. Guys, if you received that membership, come out of the bushes and say hello. Thank you, Kel. Oh, really? Yeah, that sucks. Krista says it's good. Hey, girl, hey. Thank you, guys.
Card. We saw a photo of exactly where, just off the roadway, it was reportedly found. And then we heard some back and forth where defense attorneys cross-examined him and asked, was there any traffic control? Do you know if it was found face up or face down? Was it buried under anything? Did it just rain a day or two ago? So there are questions about how exactly it ended up there, but it was very interesting to hear from a witness who was actually called to that scene after I drove up there myself, because I was curious about where, off the roadway, how close to the lake this could have happened.
And the defense is...
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, he threw that stuff way out there, took that trip that night, but didn't think to do anything with the body but put her in the trunk. Thank you, Mom. It is working. Mama Pearl's in the house. UK viewer, Starflower Ting, welcome. You guys, welcome Starflower to our chat, to our crime crew.
Questioning exactly how that passport card would have gotten there, that there were maybe other means other than David allegedly tossing it.
Absolutely. It sounds like they're setting up an argument where they could say that it was washed over there, by rainwater. It did just rain, I think, a day or two before it was found by that Caltrans worker beginning of January of this year. So this is months after the body was found last September. And this is more than half a year after she died last April. So there are a lot of questions.
Say what? Deborah, no, we don't. I don't ignore anyone. And we only have 150 people in chat. So when it's slow, I can interact better with you. But don't ever think I'm ignoring y'all. Come on. Thank you, Clark. I appreciate that. Oh, but thankful to anyone. Yes. David did have many different money accounts. And it's interesting about the cryptic messages, or that. What did you say it coded? Crypto coded communication. I wonder if they know what it was saying. Look at this, one of her last pictures with David, and that hoodie. I believe that was the hoodie that he was wearing when he got arrested. Am I correct? Where's FloJo?
Questions about how it ended up there. I imagine the prosecution later on, they're going to share evidence about the drive up there, because they are alleging that David took that trip in his own car. Yes. I don't believe the remains of Celeste were in that front trunk just yet. Again, this was April 24th. So that would have been the day after the alleged stabbing. And then later that day, this was wild. Jesse, we haven't talked about this yet in court during the preliminary hearing, but I know you've read this in the initial documents. That same day of the Santa Barbara road trip, April 24th, David went back home and then taped an interview promoting his album that came out the next day.
Yeah, and I wonder if the defense, so the prosecution will say, my gosh, look at what he's doing, right? You know, pretty sick. The defense could say,
I really do hope they say that. And I hope they point out that bag that she has every time consistently after she's dead. The bag's there. You see how he morphed? He's like, he went from scary, gory thoughts to actually doing it. Kimberly Cunningham, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Jay. Happy birthday to anyone that is having a birthday or a birthday month. Flapping it around, the things you say. Hey, but you know what I'm talking about. On Rabbit Today, Mark the Shark said the passport card was issued in May 2025. Interesting. But I wonder if it had her real name and if they just altered the age or what. Thank you, Retha. I appreciate that. And Michael, looks like you got gifted a membership today. Welcome. The uncooked hot dog. Thanks. I was about to make hot dogs for dinner. That sounded so good. Now I can't eat that anymore. There you go. I'll leave that up for a minute. You're right.
if he really brutally killed someone, he's going to do an interview right after? I mean, is that what we're expected to believe? I wonder if that's where they're going to go. By the way, let me ask you this. Big picture here. You and I both know the standard for this to continue is very low. The prosecution has the advantage. All they have to show is probable cause to support these charges, not beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed these crimes or allegedly committed these crimes, probable cause. It seems very likely the judge is going to look at the evidence when it's presented and say, this can go to trial. However, you are seeing the building blocks of the defense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does it seem to you the defense has been saying over the course of 2 days, A, this is a sloppy investigation. Things were not tested the way they should be tested. You can't definitively say these items were used to kill or dismember Celeste. And also this one, the whole purchase history, all the things that he allegedly purchased after he allegedly killed her, the laundry bags, the cadaver bag, the chainsaws, that he didn't buy them before. So they're trying to set up the argument maybe this was not planned.
That is the most wild thing I've ever heard of, because when he took her life, all right, when he brutally took her life and watched her bleed out allegedly, right, then he went on to do his tour. And if they're going to bring that up, they should bring up the fact that he didn't dismember her allegedly until later on. And when he bought that stuff, he used it. What? Psychopath. Yes, and probably many more things. Right? Damn. I Vienna sausage is what I was thinking when you say little hot dogs, little Vienna sausage flapping around.
That, hey, we don't really know the circumstances of what happened in that house.
Yes.
Maybe he acted in self-defense. Maybe it was a heat of the passion kind of killing. Am I totally off base? Or are you starting to see some of those things from the defense if this should go to trial?
Ooh, it hurts.
I think you're spot on, Jesse. I think they're setting up a couple different arguments based on where this might go and what might come up next. I agree with you. I mean, the legal standard for this to have enough probable cause to go to trial is very low. You know, this does not need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt here. It's like a mini bench trial, and everybody covering this, I think, is expecting this to have enough probable cause to proceed.
Oh God, it's going to have enough probable cause, but they want to get to the worst of the worst charges so that he never gets out. They want a solid case. And yeah, there are a few sloppy things, but I think overall with this evidence and the people that are YouTube sleuths, prior to any of this happening, it's like they already knew Celeste was with David in that way as a girlfriend, that he was hiding it, that everybody else knew. And then after death, everybody knew. They pieced it together with all these videos that he has out there and things that he allegedly tried to hide.
To trial. It does give defense attorneys an opportunity to get a feel for witnesses that prosecutors are going to call. This is like a summary of the evidence and witness testimony. So that's going to help inform whatever kind of arguments they eventually want to present. I think they're testing out a couple different things right now, but you're right. That was a point that came up yesterday. The fact that all of these incriminating items that were purchased under a fake name, but then sent to David's house, none of those purchases happened before April 23rd. Now, defense attorneys are not spelling out for us what they're trying to say, by making that point, but they've definitely made that point. So we'll see where they go with that and everything else they've called out pretty methodically about the investigation, right? And the chain of custody with several pieces of critical evidence. You know, was that left alone? Did you have a log of everybody who was at the crime scene? Did you guys do traffic control for the entire time before CHP was called in after the Caltrans worker found that passport card? Did he note whether it was face up or face down? Did you fingerprint it? There's a lot of that. And I think defense attorneys are going to keep up that line of questioning, that type of cross-examination until we're done with this preliminary hearing.
Well, think about this too, guys. And this is, we're wrapping this up. We're going to get to his grocery list, but I can't imagine how he was able to see her slowly dying and hurting her body more. But then after thinking it over and doing his tour and crying on the songs that he wrote about her, then he goes back to tear her body apart. I mean, she wasn't that big. He could have certainly just used the body bag and not tore her whole body apart and stashed pieces. That's weirdo shit. That's Jeffrey Dahmer type of shit there, guys. I agree. Hey, proud mom of two girls. The invisible pickle. This is my pickle. Someone bought me this pickle. They also bought me a pickle in a jar. I don't know where it is, though. Where's my pickle jar? Oh, there it is. All right, I got to find my pickle jar. All right, let's continue. We're done with this. Let's go take a look at. First, I want to show you real quick David Flojo's post, and then we'll take a look at his grocery list. Actually, it's the kill kit list, but let's look here real quick. David's camera roll had some Love is in the Air fresheners. Do you remember when David took his I'm cleaning the smoothie out of my car detailing video across the street from Love Car Wash on Sunset Boulevard? In early 2025, he had his car detailed. You guys think that was after? I mean, do you think that was when did he say? Hold on. Early 2020. Oh, it's just early. Wow. Video on X showing David Burke sitting outside a building, self-filming, cars at the detailer, getting the smoothie out. Okay, that makes sense. The red on the seat's a smoothie. Okay. And he got bit by a mosquito, he says. My announcement is delayed. I got to get an Uber. Half my shoes are dirty, but I'm alive. Well, I wonder if that was a mosquito bite or something that he, accidentally cut himself with or poked himself with when he was cutting up the body. I don't know if this was right after. I mean, right before. Why did he do it before? This guy's a weirdo. Yeah, freaking weirdo. All right. There it goes. Love Car Wash. And we know Flojo. Flojo's boots on the ground there. So that's the car wash where he was spotted.
Cars at the detailer getting that smoothie out. I got bit by a mosquito.
Okay.
My announcement is delayed.
I didn't either. He's a weirdo.
I got to get an Uber.
Look at him.
Half my shoes are dirty. But I'm alive.
And Celeste isn't. But I'm alive, and Celeste is not. This guy, man, may he get the harshest sentence ever. May Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her family get the justice they deserve. I think that the parents are suffering right now. Freaking weirdo. Look at this. This is the body bag stretcher combo. Body bag stretcher combo. All right, let's take a look at this. This is Trapmore Ross, and he did this. He put this on late last night, but he's been in the courtroom. Let's take a look for a little bit, and then class will be dismissed. Thank you, guys.
Stretcher combo.
Oh, he talks
that basically, it had these 3 handles on the top and bottom, and then 1 handle on either side. So that was kind of one of the body bags that he allegedly purchased. I've kind of been able to sort of reverse engineer pretty much the exact body bags that he had ordered. So it was one set like this. So that was the Primacare Primacare BB3201 body bag. I guess there's all categories of them. And then this other one, and this one was kind of really stuck out
And you know what? They drew that as a city morgue. If you look at the drawings here, you can see the bag. You can't see it right now because it's small unless you have a giant TV. But if you look up there, there's a black bag in the middle and it says city morgue. That's a different video, Avis. He's got videos everywhere of what he did. Subliminal video. There's so many Duper's Delight videos that he's done. I don't even think we can cover that in a full episode. I think it'd take multiple episodes to cover all of the things that he leaked out there on Discord, on Reddit, on his platform, whatever it is where you play Fortnite. What is that? Is that Discord?
To me, this one was kind of a different type of body bag, and notably this one said city morgue on it. To me, it seemed like this one was kind of more of a sort of like a prop, like a movie prop kind of bag, rather than this one, which seems to be like a genuine cadaver pouch that is actually highly rated and one of the most popular on here, and a lot of people have bought these, interestingly enough. So another purchase that was made was these kind of heavy duty laundry bags.
See, that's why you can't check everything people are buying. You don't know what it is. Good night, Butter My Nug. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I know, so much evidence, Cat Mendez. Here's the thing, that what we just saw on FloJo's post is, that coincides with the luminol being sprayed in the back seat, because several photos showed reddish stains inside the rear cargo area in the third row seat. Now, that was a X, right? Tesla X. So I think it was bigger, trunk bigger, body bigger, or not body, but room. USB flash drive recovered from the Tesla glove compartment. Guys, we don't even know what's in that. There's a freaking USB flash drive in the Tesla, and we don't know what it contains. I wonder. Also, in the defense examination, Burke pointed out that investigators never chemically tested or swabbed the actual interior of the rear trunk. They testified that the decision was based on her assessment at the time. And then, basically they're saying they were sloppy. They couldn't determine if the reddish stains were blood or a freaking smoothie. Some of the crime photos had been digitally enhanced, and they said any enhanced images would be labeled and say enhancement to improve visibility. But that's kind of questionable too, guys. On Redirect, they talk about the enhanced photos, the crime scene photos compiled with the other criminal labs that enhance them if necessary. So they also talk more about the chainsaws in the garage today, and the garage being a crime scene. I wonder what else they found in there.
This one was a little bit hard to see, so I was sort of towards the back of the courtroom, but I'm fairly certain it was this cotton style laundry bag. I do think that it may well have been this exact one, but I don't want to get it wrong. But I do seem to remember there being kind of various colors available.
Listen, I've been waiting to hear what was in that flash drive. I want to know so bad. Yes, they got a flash drive from the Tesla, and it's in evidence. I know, right? I have laundry bags too, but I don't buy. Yeah, I have 2 laundry bags. Happy birthday, Jay, Pam, Todd. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe his brother. It's a good bet that it's him releasing the music. I think so too. I think his family is supporting it, and they probably will. They are releasing music under his name, and it keeps getting wiped when they do.
Like this. So this sort of heavy-duty laundry bag was purchased under Travion Davis. It was a pack of 2 of these heavy-duty laundry bags that was purchased. And again, it just kind of goes to show, look, it clearly can have several purposes, but when you're in the situation David's in, there ain't too many scenarios that you can really go to. I think maybe it actually could well have been this pack of 2 extra large laundry bags, because these came in 2s. But essentially this was kind of like a more of a generic product. But what was next was very specific. So this was the exact kiddie pool that David had brought. This is the exact listing. The 8x8 with electric pump and ground top included. The ground top probably, was a useful kind of accessory that came with it. And it had reinforced seams. This is the exact item, the exact kiddie pool that was purchased. And along with that, there were 2 chainsaws that were purchased. And this is just the Amazon listing so far. So there was a WEN electric chainsaw. This was the exact model, corded 12 amp with 16-inch blade on it. And then there was another one that was I believe it was a Tytok hand-powered saw, and this was kind of a smaller with kind of like a like a sort of hand-powered. So it was this model in, I believe, a sort of red or pinkish color, but it was this exact tool essentially, and this, I believe, it came in pink, and he actually purchased it.
Can you believe that he would purchase a pink one? Now, mind you, he had this obsession with Celeste, and Celeste was a child, and she liked Hello Kitty. So what do? To appeal to the children? Wear Hello Kitty stuff and flop on the chair your Vienna sausage. But to murder somebody in the way that he did and then come back and dismember her, you really need to buy a fashionable mini saw. Like, no wonder her body was ripped apart. Jeez, man. That's unbelievable, this guy.
In pink, which again is super creepy when you think that this is the kind of thing that Celeste probably would have chosen it in pink as well. If they made a Hello Kitty one, they probably would have got that as well, which is just sad to think about. But that's really what was going on with him, unfortunately. So that was the exact chainsaw that was purchased. And while all of this was being shown in court, David just read.
Only one of them are missing, though, Denise. There are 3 chainsaws purchased, 2 that they found, and 1 that doesn't exist anymore. It exists, but we don't know where. So yeah, there was no trace evidence on those chainsaws, but I believe the chainsaw that he used, he disposed of somewhere. Maybe he disposed of it when he went to Santa Barbara, threw it out in the ocean, whatever. I don't know. Off the side of a cliff. Who knows?
Rested his head on his chin like that. He just looked the whole time at the screen, looking at absolutely everything that he had bought. He looked a little bit defeated, but he also didn't really look too rattled or shocked. He was just kind of like the whole way through.
There's a lot of evidence.
Amazon item after Amazon item, just like that. So basically, we were showing pictures of both of these chainsaws in his house. They were found, which apparently they were found in the garage with the blue inflatable pool. So the exact kiddie pool that I just showed you, all of this was found in the garage, and this kiddie pool was obviously, they found these blue plastic fragments in her wounds. They found the pool itself uninflated, and they also basically found kind of several other items that were purchased.
That is one of the most wild things. I will never think to cut something up inside of a blow up kiddie pool. I mean, he had some time to think, though, right? All right, guys, if you're coming in, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're leaving, hit the like button on your way out. And if you see the hype option, please hype the channel. Yeah, hit 3 of them. And you know what? I'm looking at I'm just constantly trying to find out what's new. And I'm looking for the David just more David clips. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a Nevada shooting rampage right now. And there's a guy running around the streets of Nevada shooting people. Has anyone seen that? Crazy, man. This world is just out of their mind. Yeah, I think so too, Donna Clark. It's hard to fault them when they have a certain time constraint and there's so much evidence
on different platforms. So these were apparently ordered through Uber or Postmates. Maybe it was Uber Eats. Like I order groceries and I might order like a SD card from Uber Eats, from Target or something, Best Buy if I'm really desperate or if I want to shoot or something like that. So other items that were apparently purchased, this exact Makita chainsaw was purchased from Home Depot and it was delivered by Uber Postmates. I don't know if that's Uber Eats or Postmates or if they had some collab. I don't know what was going on back then. I don't even know whether it was one or the other, but this was the exact chainsaw. Now I'm going to tell you something very, very interesting. This chainsaw, out of all 3 of those chainsaws, this one was never found. And I believe that this is the one that was used to dismember Celeste. And as you're going to find out, I mean, I'll just tell
that would be the one that you would think to use, because if you're trying to cut up a body and you got to cut through bones and all the gruesome stuff that we know he did, that makes sense. I don't think that little tiny mini handsaw would do the trick, but hey, you could try, I guess, if you're into that.
The other 2 chainsaws were found in the property with no traces of blood or DNA on them. This chainsaw never found. If this is found, it would cook him, but it was not found. Okay. So those other ones that was purchased, this was purchased from Postmates. The other ones was purchased basically The other ones were purchased from Amazon and they were still found in his property. There was also a sort of mop and bucket system, a tornado spin mop. This exact Libman green tornado spin mop was ordered from the sort of Postmates site. He also ordered a shovel. I believe there was actually, I think I had the exact listing for the shovel.
Oh my goodness. Couldn't he bought anything else? What kind of idiot tries to cut up a body with a chainsaw in a blow-up pool? Now that's extremely stupid. I agree. But we're glad that he's stupid like that because otherwise we wouldn't have all this evidence.
Where was it? This was the shovel that was ordered, not from Amazon, I believe, but from a Postmates type service. 28-inch mini garden shovel with a D-grip alloy D-grip.
So I do wonder what he dug and used that for. Again, he bought a shovel. Maybe he used it down in Santa Barbara by chance and buried some of her remains that he was saving. I don't know.
Brought up here. But basically the fireproof mat was quite an interesting find. Yes. And it was this exact model, an ASTM D643 flame resistant mat, basically.
That's premeditation at its finest. Hey, Rebecca, let me show you real quick, just because I don't want you guys to leave yet. I just wanted to show you. We're almost done here, but take a look at this, guys. Gunman opens fire in Nevada with a shooting rampage. It says Ryan Adams. This guy is just running down the street, shooting people.
Tonight, a gunman opening fire.
Look at that, guys.
Unleashing multiple rounds in this North Las Vegas neighborhood, randomly firing as he appears to roam the streets. Doorbell cameras capture the shirtless man with what police say is an AR-15. Look as he walks down the street Sunday pointing his gun, even knocking at a front door.
Damn.
He crouches down on this porch to take aim. Ryan Adams films the shooting from a window before the gunman starts firing in his direction.
What the? Oh. Get down.
Adams warns his family to take cover.
We were armed and just sitting tight, hoping that he didn't come in. And fortunately for us, that he didn't. Couple on the...
Later showing our Las Vegas station KSNV where several bullets pierced his home.
We just found a bullet fragment right here on the side. And then it actually buried in the wall.
Police arrived with guns drawn. The suspect on the ground before taking off running. Police say the suspect resisted their attempt to take him into custody, and once apprehended, he became unresponsive, adding they believe he was impaired. The gunman was later declared dead at a hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A chilling...
Damn, guys. You see the kind of stuff that's going on? Oh, my goodness. All right, let's continue. They all need to get their own pew-pews, Crazy Jane said. That was an AR-15. That guy's running around with, I don't know how much... more damage you could do than an AR-15. He OD'd? Is that what it said? I didn't hear that. But hey, whatever.
Is completely unburnable. Okay, up to 3.
He didn't get to do that because, well, he's in Los Angeles.
LAPD, and there was a very interesting back and forth. And at this point, I started just typing out everything that was said, so I could pretty much tell you verbatim what happened over the next section. And this was probably this was probably Blair Burke's finest hour in the courtroom, because I feel like she actually picked a lot of holes in what the detectives kind of put forward. Again, I don't think that this indicates any sort of innocence on David's behalf, but what I do think it indicates is that there are definitely a few things that maybe weren't quite done the best way, and this might cause David's the prosecution some problems at trial.
Basically, they just need to have a reasonable doubt, and that's it, right? But prosecution is charging him to the fullest. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Okay. Got it. I didn't know if they shot him and that's why he became unresponsive. I wasn't quite sure. It went really quick. So guys, they're looking at 10 more witnesses over the rest of this week. Now, the judge will determine whether there's probable cause to move forward. I'm sure there is. But here's the thing. They are going for the harshest sentence. They're going for LWOP, and if they don't go for the death penalty, they want life without the possibility of parole. They don't want any chance that David's ever going to get out. So that's what we're looking at as the days move forward. All right. Let's see what Blair Burke says as a defense.
So Blair said that basically you arrived at the tow yard after the medical examiner. The detective said, that's incorrect. I arrived after the local detectives, but prior to the medical examiner. And they said, well, the crime logs indicate you arrived, and then basically said you took over from the Hollywood auto detectives. And the detective said, I took over from West Bureau, who took over from West Hollywood. So it was basically like the West Hollywood detectives were then taken over by the West Bureau, were then taken over by the special unit of the robbery homicide division. So there are a lot of handovers in this.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of handovers. They're also in different counties, different places, different things, lots and lots of evidence. All right. What's up, Foxy? She made it. Foxy's in the house. What's up, Foxy? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. All right. This is, I mean, I wish we could see this in court, but these people are doing a fantastic job reporting. And it's interesting that I've had at least, 4 or 5 different people that I put on here, and they all have different information, guys.
In this situation that weren't ideal. So Blair said, how long was the West Bureau at the scene? I'm just gonna read this. So apologies, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just gonna read this so you've got kind of the best information. I might even show you my notes. Let me just show you my notes. Hang on a minute. It will be easier if I just show you the notes. I can just read this to you.
Bye, Deb.
So I'm going to show you my notes, my full notes. All right. I was going to upload these to Patreon or something. I don't know. My free Patreon. I could upload these so you could just read them if you wanted to. And they basically said, okay, how long was West Bureau at the scene? Hollywood was notified around 11 a.m. With notification sent to West Bureau, who were then just a few hours prior to the LAPD arrival. And then Blair says, was the West Bureau there when the vehicle was opened and the bags were discovered? Detective says no. It said, when you arrived, was the vehicle open and the bags unzipped? He replied, the front was open and the body bags were partially unzipped. She said, who opened those bags? It said, an officer from Hollywood. She brought up a photo from criminalists taken on September 8th, 2025 from the Hollywood tow yard. Showed a...
Don't forget, happy birthday to Chris. Tell Deb, please tell Chris that Guilty of Crime crew wishes him a very happy birthday. And it's the start of the Leo season, my friends. All right. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. I found the best clips from today and information that hopefully doesn't overlap too much for y'all. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And where'd Mab go? I cut down some of my hair. So the skunk, you guys see the Mab threw me off of the island, want to throw me off the island because I have skunk hair. It's all fun and games, guys. Let's continue. We're almost done here. I got to go eat. It smells really good in there.
Other gruesome picture that we hadn't seen of the remains in the bag from a different angle, and that was kind of shocking because the courtroom really wasn't prepared to see that again. There was no really forewarning for that. So he would reply, when he arrived, the bag with the body parts was still in the car. That was under the cadaver bag. It hadn't been moved. The second bag wasn't noticed until they took out the first bag. And she asked, was this image taken when the body was removed? And he said, it's hard to tell, but the body's clearly not in that picture. She says, when you first arrived, the medical examiner had already interacted with the bag in the vehicle. Beth kind of objected to that, but it was allowed. She kind of rephrased, said, did you inspect the vehicle and unzip the bag? He said, I didn't touch the vehicle, and we don't, by law, touch the bodies. That's the medical examiner's job. She said, so when you approach the vehicle, how long until the...
You guys would literally have to do research all day to put what I put in this episode. And trust me, I've been looking all day since this morning. I'm telling everybody, hey, look out for clips for me. What happened today? I need the most information, the best, not just the back and forth. So yeah, definitely. There's definitely some really good people out there covering this. And I'm grateful for that. We need justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Right? I know it smells good. I don't know what Mrs. Guilty's cooking, but damn, it smells good.
Medical examiner arrived, and he said less than an hour. So basically said, saw the medical examiner remove the cadaver bag and observe and open the second bag.
Yes.
She said, who directed the bags to be removed? He said him or his partner, basically. Could have been him. I messed the third and the first person up there. She said, were you the one directing that both bags be taken into evidence? And this is where she kind of played a smart little card. I'm not going to lie to you. He said the bag was not taken as evidence after...
Okay, so this is the part where they are really sloppy in prosecution. I'm sorry, defense is going to use that, right? Shout out to FloJo, guys. FloJo, good work. I saw you out there in Lauren Conlon's photo. I was all over your X page. I shared your stuff. and we've all been talking nothing but good about you. People want us to collab, Flojo. They want to nail you down on a live, and if you collab, we'll nail it down. So think about that. Let's collab soon, all right? Hey, Truth Sleuth.
Consulting with a criminal supervisor due to its contents not being able to be preserved, decomposition and liquefaction didn't allow them to be stored, so they just cut off the handles and the zippers for processing. If you remember, go rewind the video because I can't pull it up because I'm on these notes. But go and have a look back, all right, if you want, or I could just pull it up. The handles on the side of those cadaver bags, all right, which were, these handles were cut off. It was this exact.
So maybe, I don't know how you are on Fridays, Flojo, but I'm going to be, tomorrow I'll be here, and then I'm out of here for my birthday. I should be back maybe Wednesday, but I'd be down to Thursday or Friday. Or I can make it work. If you have to do it on a weekend, we can collab on a weekend. It's up to you. Anyway, let's make it happen soon, all right? I really do. Flojo's awesome. There's not that many people that I say are awesome, and he's one of them. So, all right, sloppy.
Bag. So they cut off the handles. They cut off the zippers from the bags. They kept those because they thought DNA might have been on them. But the inside of the bag was just liquefied remains, said we couldn't keep it. It was unpreservable. And as I explained in my earlier video, I think that is going to be a problem for the prosecution, because it's going to come out eventually that it's going to kind of be like, why didn't you keep those bags? So she followed up. She said, once the limbs and torsos and head removed, you didn't take either of the bags into evidence. And he said, well, we didn't take the cadaver bag with the torso and head. We consulted with the LAPD criminalist, and they don't recall if the second bags with the limbs was taken or not. And they said, was any testing done before the bag was released? And after consulting the criminalist, they said the best action, take anything out that most likely would have been touched, like the handles. And
Thank you for putting that in there, Krista. You're right. They were filled with liquid. The body had liquefied. So Krista says body soup. So I think it'd be hard for them to keep part of the bags. But, nobody's perfect, and there's a ton of other evidence. So, hey, you know what? We saw David he was the last person in that car. They've got video. They've now got the USB from the Tesla. I don't think it's going to be hard to put 2 and 2 together, guys. All right. 2 and 2 is 4. I promise.
Zipper. And she said, was any other testing applied outside the body bag or plastic bag? Did you get any fingerprint swabs, blue star misting? He said, no, the decomposition in the environment was so bad, they just said, let's cut the components of the bag off and keep those. And then she said, if the medical examiner indicated the black body bag contents were collected and placed and sealed into biohazard bags, and as she was talking, DA Beth Silverman objected. That was sustained because they basically said that they were referring to stuff that wasn't in evidence. You can't talk about what wasn't in evidence. You can only talk about what was and question, basically, like, why isn't that in evidence? But you can't refer to contents of the bag that were not collected, basically. And they said,
so just real quick, guys, since we're here talking, Maggie, I don't want to make anything members only where you guys can't watch it. So when I say members only, many times it's going to be members only chat. So you can still watch it. You just can't chat. I got to give them some perks for keeping the channel going. And then other times it's giveaways. So we give stuff away to members only. And then once a month, we'll do everybody gets shut out, and we can talk as much trash as we want. All right. Who wants me to cover the Lindsay Clancy case? Drop a 1 in chat. All right. Let's wrap this up. I'm hungry.
The black body bag and contents was sealed into a biohazard bag. They said, so you forensic the Tesla the next day. Did you take any items in for evidence? Did you take any other evidence? Now, Beth objected to that. They basically said, Blair, you can't just ask what evidence was taken. The judge agreed. They said, look, this is a preliminary hearing. This isn't discovery. You had discovery. You should have already established, what was allowed and what is going to be brought up and what isn't. They said, you can't ask for potential items, potential evidence, theoretical evidence that was or wasn't collected. We're just going to stick to the evidence that was collected, basically, and stick to that. So Blair would continue. Was there any other physical items taken into evidence on September the 9th? He said, I don't recall all of what was taken aside from the swabs. She said, you said earlier you wrote a search warrant for one of the properties and executed it on September the 17th, 2025. Gonna have to blur that on it. Okay. So she says, you were in the detective in charge of that search? And he says, yeah, it was a big place. We had a lot of people working across all 3 floors, moved from garage to the 1st and 2nd floor. So basically they're talking about that property. And she's kind of trying to poke holes, saying, did you get a log? Did you really record who was doing what? And she said, did you keep a crime log of all the detectives that were present who came and left? Beth objected to this questioning, but the judge was like, no, it's allowed. I'm going to let him ask this. I'm going to let her ask this. And she said, did anyone log who was arriving and leaving? And the detective kind of sidestepped it. He said, well, there's detailed notes from the detectives about who was doing what. But she said, what? But no crime scene log. And he's like, nah. And then she said, you and your partner gave instructions to criminalists for items they were looking for, right? Like tools or instruments or weapons that could be used for dismemberment. He said, yeah, this was a week into the investigation, so we didn't really know exactly what we were looking for other than tools for a dismembered body. She said, yeah,
you guys know that I'm sure that this hearing is going to last, as they say, 3 to 5 days. It will, with the cross-examination. Do you guys want me to cover Lindsay Clancy? I think some of you guys don't know that case. That she family annihilator, and then she tried to take her own life, jumped out of a window. First, she what did she do? She strangled or suffocated each kid one by one while she sent her husband out to get food. When he came back, she was on the ground. She had jumped from the top of her house, and now she's in a wheelchair. She's literally, she can't move. I think it's from, you guys don't want me to cover Lindsay Clancy? The trial's coming up. That's why I'm asking. Okay. I'll put a poll out there. We're just about done here, but I do want to tell you new names to look out for. All right. Gregor identified Sheldon. And if you didn't know, Sheldon is allegedly a live-in security guard that was in and around the time that Celeste was in and around. Testifying, Sheldon lived at Burke's home for about 6 months. So they're like, hey, did you ever talk about anything? Did you know Celeste was there? Did you see her? Did you realize she was a minor? All right. So they talked about they talked about the live-in security guard. They pointed out the purchases of the home today and moving it to his mom. And then they asked Gregor about Celeste. And wait a minute, they're like, hey, you never discussed the London travel with Carlene Burke or Josh Marshall. So they're trying to find out what the bodyguard knows. That's a new person today. Passport was issued May 2024. He did end up, the bodyguard said that he admitted to traveling with Celeste and Burke both to London with Robert Morganross. So his financial person, his bodyguard, and his manager all went on the London trip, and nobody knew she was a minor, allegedly. Right? They later learned the airline tickets for Celeste's trip to London had not been purchased through one of his personal accounts, he did it through his personal account and not through Mogul Vision, which was a managed account that he can pull from to travel, etc. Also, they asked Sheldon, the bodyguard, if he ever discussed fake IDs, parties at Burke's home, or drugs and alcohol while driving David and Celeste to parties, because he did. He would drive them to parties, and you know how we saw those party pictures with whatever they were snorting and alcohol, etc. He was there for all of it, guys. So I wonder what he's going to say. Remember the name Sheldon Jaculas? However you say that. Jaculas? That's a weird name. All right.
Have specific instructions to look for tools that could be used in a dismemberment. He said yes. She said, earlier you said there was a burn cage that you found at the home. He said yes. She said, did you personally identify this? He said, I saw it unopened on the 2nd floor of the residence near the patio above the stairs. She said, at the time of the search, did you document its discovery? He said, yes, they took pictures. She said, did you test it with chemical agents? And he was like, test the unopened box? No. And that kind of got a few little giggles in the courtroom. There were a few of these moments where it's like people just kind of bust out laughing. And honestly, it was a bit weird. It was a bit weird. Some of it wasn't very funny. I got a neck ache that I'm trying to fix from just hunching over my laptop all day. Catching injuries off this case, man. So basically it said, okay, well, your testimony is you knew it was a burn cage at the time of the search warrant. And he says, yep. She said, well, let me show you the exhibit. She showed the box, and she said, is it your testimony that LAPD took this pick of the search? He said, you personally identified it as a burn cage on that day. He says, I saw it that day. And she said, but you didn't take it into evidence or collect it. He said, correct. So he didn't open the box. So you testified earlier, let's be clear, the burn cage you talk of having discovered on September 17th, you indicated you determined it was an Amazon order of some kind of burn cage. You said, yes. Cage was ordered July 2025, not April. Yes. So she kept asking about all these items and said, were they ordered after the murder? So I felt like this was her really trying to find an angle to downplay the premeditation element of it. Kept saying you found a number of chainsaws and electric saws, right? Said, yeah, 2 chainsaws and a straight saw blade. A straight blade saw. Said 3 saws. Yep, 2 in a garage, 1 on the second floor.
All right, there's not much in here. I'm not going to go. This is a lot of yesterday and people reading these, reading the logs or the transcript, and I'm not going to do that. So we can, you guys can go watch the transcript reading on any other channel. But I just wanted to bring to you guys the evidence that, or what happened yesterday and what came out of today's day 2 preliminary hearing. All right. So guys, thank you. We have 150 people still in chat. We've got a bunch of different things going on, the super chat, super stickers, gems, and all that. So tomorrow, you guys are going to want to be here tomorrow. We're obviously going to have to cover this again, day 3, but I am going to give out memberships and one of my Guilty of Crime books. We're going to save that for tomorrow so y'all can be here. Hopefully everyone comes and piles in and you could win. All right. So every Monday through Friday, it's 4 p.m. Denise, 4 p.m. California time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And normally I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No weekends. But this week is my birthday week, month, whatever. So I'll be here tomorrow and then I'll be back again next week. Kathy, you should be in bed. Go to bed. All right. Good night, guys. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Same time, 4 p.m., same place. I'm out. Love you guys. No. 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. I should put that at the bottom of my show, scrolling by, right? Not 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock Pacific, 2 Central, 7 or 6 Central. I'm sorry, you're confusing me. All right, guys, love you. Good night. I'm going to go eat. I'm hungry. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Kel. All right, peace.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?